Adventures in time and space, told in future tense. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction, bring you Dimension X. The soundproofed Happy Life home had cost $30,000 installed. It clothed and fed and rocked them to sleep and played and sang and was good to them. Their life purred on from day to day, measured and controlled by the nucleonic thermostats, the iridium sponge servo brains that made the beds and washed down the bathroom floors and made sure the salt cellars flowed freely without clogging. Twice a day, the house paused, rang a quiet bell, and turned precisely 90 degrees on its axis in order that the view from the Solaroid living room windows might be varied to avoid ennui. Of course, the pride of the house was the nursery. The agent for the company had been most enthusiastic.
This way, right down the hall.
All right.
What was that?
Oh, it's all automatic. The nursery turns itself on when you come within 10 feet of it. Soft automaticity. That's the motto of the company. All right, now, this is the nursery. 40 feet by 40 feet and 30 feet high. Separate power unit with automatic overload circuit breakers, inspected and approved by the underwriter's laboratory. The nursery is educational, instructive, entertaining, and therapeutic. The entire control mechanism is adjusted to the electroencephalographic key of the child.
How much does it cost?
30,000 FOB, Los Angeles.
But that's as much as the whole house.
Why, no. But we do want the best for our children, don't we?
Oh, yes, we want the best for our children.
And it was the best. The crystalline walls wavered from 2 to 3 dimensions. The pseudo-textured composition flooring shifted lightly from brick to dirt to waving grass. And the odorophonics wafted the scent of fantasy through the hermetically conditioned and filtered air. The nursery was the very best. But then they wanted the very best for the children. The technicians installed the nursery, and the heavy coaxial power cable was run in from the main line. The walls sprang to life, and the mental control banks and relays hummed.
All right, Peter and Wendy, this is your nursery.
What's so special about a nursery, Dad?
Plenty. You just go in and see.
Oh, do we have to? It's so big. You promised you'd play ball with me outside, Pop.
Go on, kids. Try out the nursery. It's better than any old yard.
Oh. Go on in, dear. You'll be surprised. Gee.
Go ahead, Wendy.
I'm scared. I'm not. Hey, it's nice in here. It is? Come on in, Wendy. Boy, look at the pictures on those walls. They're real. Well, almost real.
You can change them any way you like just by thinking about it.
Go on in, dear. Well, all right, Mommy. Hey, Wendy, look what I can do with the pictures. Oh, that's the white mountain from Alice in Wonderland. Sure. I just thought about it, and there it was. Well, let me try, Peter. Let me try. Go ahead. Just think. How about the... Oh, I know. I want to see the Wizard of Oz.
Well, dear, there we are.
They like it, don't they?
Well, why shouldn't they? All they have to do is think, and they've got whatever they want in 3 dimensions. Color, sound, and smell. Oh, think what it would have been like to have a nursery like that when you were a kid.
It's nice that we can give them all the advantages.
Why, sure. What else are we working for, huh?
That's right.
Well, what do you want to do this evening?
Well, the Petersons asked us over for bridge, but...
Oh, we don't have to worry about the kids. They'll be all right in the nursery. Come on, Lydia. We deserve a night out. And in the nursery, the walls were a kaleidoscope of time and space and imagination.
The green forest of Sherwood and quiet forms of Robin and his merry men gave way to the roll of the high seas and the smell of salt in the air as Sir Henry Morgan sailed into the harbor at Jamaica.
It's my turn now, Peter. You've got to be fair. It's my turn.
Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz followed the yellow brick road round the nursery walls. Then Hansel and Gretel discovered the gingerbread house about 3 feet from the door. And from a high tower that stretched into the clouds, the little lame prince sailed out over his kingdom. And behind the crystal and quartz walls, the vacuum tubes and grids and banks of mental image tape spun quietly and efficiently, erasing the line between illusion and reality. Of course, the electric bill from Consolidated Utilities was tremendous, but it was worth it. The house went on. The stove hummed happily in the kitchen, making breakfast, dinner, and supper for 4, turning the eggs over lightly and producing popovers electronically calculated by capacity to a 30-volt current and specific gravity. The automatic laundry did the shirts with a medium starch in the collars, except the button-down Oxfords, which had no starch at all. The Happy Life home breathed contentedly as life proceeded with soft automaticity as guaranteed in the brochure and bill of sale.
George. George, I wish you'd look at the nursery.
Well, what's wrong with this?
Well, I don't know.
Well, then what?
I just want you to look at it, that's all. Or call a psychologist to look at it.
What would a psychologist want with a nursery?
Oh, now, George, you know very well what he'd want.
I was in the nursery last week. It's perfectly all right.
Well, it's different now.
Huh? What do you mean, different?
Well, I just want you to come and see.
Are the kids there?
No, Madge Allen took them to a show along with her kids. That's why I want you to look in now before they get back.
All right. What you expect me to do, I don't know. I'm no mechanic.
This isn't a question of a leaky faucet, George.
All right, dear, I'm coming.
The nursery light flicked on as they came down the hall. The relays clicked, and the tubes warmed, and chemical odor banks and pipes bubbled into life as they paused before the closed door.
Go ahead, George. Open it.
On all sides, in 3 dimensions, stretched the hot, tired landscape of an African veldt, reproduced to the last stick and pebble and bit of straw. The ceiling above them became a sky with a hot, yellow sun. A wind blew in from the baked veldtland. The hot straw smell of lion grass. The cool, green smell of the hidden waterhole. The great, rusty smell of animals. The smell of dust like red paprika on the hot air. And now the sounds. The howl of the jackal in the distance, the thump of distant antelope feet on grassy sod, and the papery rustling of the great vultures that wheeled and circled under the yellow, burning sun.
Oh, let's get out of this sun. It's a little too real.
Oh, no, George, you promised you'd look around.
Well, I don't see anything.
Now, wait a minute. Look, there are the vultures.
Filthy creatures.
And there are the lions. Far over that way.
Yes, I see them.
They're on their way to the waterhole. They've just eaten.
Eaten?
Yes, I can't see what.
The sun's too strong.
Well, shade your eyes.
It's some animal. A zebra or a baby giraffe, maybe.
Can you see it? Are you sure?
It's a little too late to be sure. Nothing over there but clean bone. Vultures dropping for what's left.
George, did you hear that scream?
What scream?
Just now.
Sorry, hon, no.
Here come the lions. George, they're frightening.
Take it easy, Lydia. They're just illusions.
It was a miracle of mechanical efficiency. The lions prowling toward them over the tawny veldtland. A miracle of inventive genius. Every house should have one. The lions were 15 feet away. So real, so startlingly real, you could feel the prickling fur on your hand. Your mouth was stuffed with the dusty upholstery smell of their heated pelts. And the yellow of them was in your eyes, like the yellow of an exquisite tapestry. The yellows of lions in summer grass. The sound of the matted lion lungs exhaling on the silent noontide. And the smell of meat from the panting, dripping mouths.
George, I'm afraid. They're so real.
They're only an illusion, Lydia, that's all.
Watch out!
Out, quick, outside.
Oh, George.
Lydia, my poor, sweet Lydia.
George, they almost got her.
No. Take it easy. Calm down.
Yes, but I could feel their breath.
No. Get a hold of yourself, Lydia. They aren't real. Walls, that's all it is. Crystalloid walls.
But they look so real.
Yes, darling. Of course they do. But it's all dimensional color reactionary process and mental tape film behind glass screens. It's all odorophonics and sonics. Now, here, take my handkerchief.
I'm afraid, George. Did you see? Did you feel? It's too real.
No, Lydia.
We've got to tell Wendy and Peter not to read any more on Africa.
Yes, of course, dear.
Do you promise?
Sure.
And lock the nursery for a few days.
Oh, now, wait a minute, dear. Let's keep our sense of proportion.
George, I want you to lock that place up.
Honey, you know how difficult Peter is about that. I punished him last week by locking the nursery for an afternoon, and he threw a tantrum, and Wendy, too. Honey, they live for the nursery.
I tell you, it's got to be locked. That's all there is to it.
Lydia, you need a rest.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I don't have enough to do. I have too much time to think. All I do is set the menu selector dials at the beginning of the week.
But, honey, that's the whole idea. The house is automatic.
I know. But couldn't we turn it off for a couple of weeks? Just a couple of weeks and take a vacation.
You mean that you want to fry eggs for me?
Yes, I do. And darn socks, too. I feel like I don't belong here. The house is wife and mother and maid. How can I compete with the African Veldt? And you, George, you don't know what to do with yourself in the house when you're home. You're drinking too much.
Am I?
You feel useless, too.
Yes, I suppose I do.
George. Those lions can't get out of there, can they?
Oh, of course not, dear. Now, don't think about it anymore.
They ate alone. He sat idly watching the dining room table produce warm dishes of food from its mechanical interior.
You forgot the ketchup. That's better.
It wouldn't hurt to lock the children out of the nursery for a while. It was clear that they'd been spending too much time in Africa. Oh, that sun. He could still feel it on his neck like a hot paw. And the lions, and the smell of blood. Remarkable how the nursery caught the telepathic emanations of the children's minds and created a life to fulfill their desires. The children thought zebras, and there were zebras. Sun, death, and death. They were so young. But long before you knew what death was, you were wishing it on someone else. But this, the long, hot African Veldt, the awful death in the jaws of a lion, and repeated again and again and again. The children came home dutifully at 8:30.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Pop.
Hi, Peter. You want something to eat, Wendy?
No, thanks.
Well, we're just having dessert.
We're full of strawberry ice cream. And hot dogs. We'll just sit and watch.
Sure. Peter, tell us about the nursery.
Nursery?
Yes, all about Africa and everything.
I don't understand.
Your mother and I were just traveling through Africa with rod and reel.
There's no Africa in the nursery.
Oh, come now, Peter. We know better.
I don't remember any Africa. Do you, Wen? Run and see, huh? Sure. I'll be right back.
Wendy, come back here. Wendy.
She'll be right back, Pop.
She doesn't have to. I've seen it. Now, come on.
Sure, Pop. Wendy will tell us, though.
Could they be lying?
We'll see in just a moment. Peter, open the door.
See, Daddy? It's not Africa. It's Florida. Like in the yearling. There go the deer, see? It isn't Africa.
Yes, I see it isn't. Go to bed.
But it isn't 9 o'clock. No, it isn't.
You heard me. Go to bed.
Okay. Night, Mom. Night, Pop. Good night.
Good night, dears. I'll be right in.
Lydia, wait a minute. Here, look at this.
What is it?
This is the corner where the lions were, isn't it?
What's that you picked up?
It's an old wallet of mine. There's a smell of hot grass on it. The smell of a lion. It's wet with saliva. And it's been chewed.
George, those smears of blood.
Come on out. Now let's go to bed.
So they went to bed. But in the middle of the night, Lydia was still awake, and she knew her husband was awake.
George.
Hmm?
How did your wallet get in the nursery?
I don't know. Wendy must have changed the walls from the African Veldt. Honey, I'm going to keep it locked. Maybe it isn't good for the children.
It's supposed to help them work off their neuroses in a harmless way.
I'm starting to wonder.
We've given the children everything they wanted.
My father used to say children are like carpets. They should be stepped on occasionally. We've never lifted a hand. They're spoiled.
And we're spoiled.
I think I'll have Dr. McLean come tomorrow morning and have a look at Africa.
Yes, only it isn't Africa now. It's Florida and the yearling.
I have a feeling it'll be Africa again before then.
George, Wendy and Peter aren't in their room.
No. They've broken into the nursery.
Those screams. They sounded familiar.
Did they?
Yes, awfully. Oh, George.
Although their automatic Somno beds tried very hard, the two adults couldn't be rocked to sleep for another hour. A smell of cats was in the night air. And in the morning, the stove cooked French toast, and the dining room table poured the syrup and melted butter.
Pop,
Yes?
you aren't going to lock up the nursery for good, are you?
That all depends.
On what?
On you and your sister?
We feel that you should have some variety, dear.
If you intersperse this Africa with a little Sweden or China...
I thought we were free to play the way we like.
Well, you are within reasonable bounds.
Well, what's wrong with Africa, Daddy?
Oh, so now you admit you've been thinking up Africa, hmm?
I wouldn't want the nursery locked up ever.
Well, as a matter of fact, we're thinking of turning the whole house off for about a month. Sort of camping out.
You mean I'd have to tie my own shoes instead of having my shoe tire do it? And brush my own teeth and comb my own hair and give myself a bath?
Well, Wendy, it would be fun for a change, don't you think, dear?
No, it'd be awful. I didn't like it when you took out the picture painter last month.
Well, that's because I wanted you to learn to paint by yourself.
I don't want to do anything but look and listen and smell. What else is there to do?
Oh, all right. All right, go play in Africa.
Are you going to shut off the house?
We're considering it.
I don't think you better consider it anymore, Pop.
I won't have any threats from you, son.
Okay, Pop. Come on, Wendy. Let's get back.
After breakfast, Dr. David McLean was announced by the audio knocker. And the dining room table, recognizing him as an old friend, poured an extra cup of coffee, light with 4 lumps.
I saw the nursery last year, George. It looked all right to me. You didn't notice anything unusual?
No. The pattern showed the usual violence, a tendency toward slight paranoia. All children feel persecuted by their parents. Perfectly normal.
I locked the nursery and they broke into it last night. I let them stay so they could form the patterns for you to see. There it is.
Well, suppose we take a look at it right now.
They entered without knocking and sent the children out. The screams had faded, and the lions were feeding quietly under the trees.
Wish I could see what they're eating. Do you suppose some high-powered binoculars would...
Hardly, no. How long has this been going on?
A little over a month.
It certainly doesn't feel good.
I don't want feelings. I want facts.
George, a psychologist, never saw a fact in his life. He knows about feelings, and this doesn't feel good. My advice to you is to have the whole room torn down and your children brought to me every day for the next year for treatment.
Is it that bad?
I'm afraid so. You know, that's why the nursery was developed originally. To let us examine the patterns left on the wall by a child's mind.
But what is it? What's wrong with Peter and Wendy?
Well, it's hard to say.
I haven't punished them more than average, though I took away a few gadgets. Last week, I locked the nursery to show I meant business.
George, you've let this room replace you and your wife and your children's affections. This room is their real father and mother. And now you come along and want to shut it. You can feel the hatred coming out of that sky. George, turn everything off. The nursery, the automatic kitchen, the whole confounded automatic house. Start now.
But won't the shock be too much for the children?
I don't want them going any deeper. Let's get out of here. I never liked these rooms. Get me nervous.
Those lions look real, don't they? I don't suppose there's any way that...
What?
That they could become real.
Certainly not.
Some flaw in the machinery, tamper.
No.
I don't imagine the room would like being turned on.
Nothing ever likes to die. Even a room.
I wonder if it hates me for turning it on.
Paranoia is thick today. Hello. Is this your scarf? It's stained. Brown. Say, that's blood.
That's Lydia's. Come on, the main fuse box is out here.
Go ahead. Pull the switch.
Yeah. It's off.
The two children were in hysterics. They screamed and kicked and threw things. They yelled and sobbed and swore and jumped on the furniture, weeping.
It's off and it stays off. The whole house dies as of now. The more I see of the mess we put ourselves in, the more it sickens me. We've been contemplating our electrical, mechanical navels for too long. We need air. Fresh, unfiltered, unconditioned air.
He marched around the house, cutting switches and pulling fuses. The stove was disconnected with a roast lamb in the oven and a flapjack still in the air. The heaters, the shoe shiners, the shoelacers, the body scrubbers and swabbers and massagers. He pulled the plugs and shorted out the controls, one after the other. The house became full of electronic corpses. It was a mechanical cemetery, so silent. None of the humming, hidden energy of the machines waiting to function at the tap of a button. And by the still dining room table, its radionic insides dead and currentless, Peter wailed at the house.
Don't let them do it. Don't let Pop kill everything. I hate you, Pop. I hate you.
Peter, please.
Insults won't get you anywhere.
I wish you were dead.
We were for a long while. Now we're going to start really living.
One more, Daddy. Just one more.
Oh, Wendy,
one
honey.
more minute of the nursery. That's all. Just one more minute.
George, it can't hurt, really.
Oh, all right. Only shut up. 1 minute. And that's the end. Forever.
Gee, thanks, Pop. Thanks.
Then we're going on a vacation. Dr. McLean is coming in a half hour to help us out. Lydia, turn on the nursery.
Now remember, kids, it'll be just for 1 minute.
Oh, boy. Come on, Wendy, come on. Thanks, Daddy. Thanks a lot.
Just 1 minute, remember. Oh, where'd I put those suitcases? Lydia!
Don't shout, George. I'm right here.
Oh, did you leave them alone in the nursery?
Well, I've got to get ready, George. Oh, that awful Africa. What can they see in it?
Well, in an hour, we'll be on our way to Iowa. What prompted us to buy a nightmare like that?
Pride, I guess. We had the money and we were foolish.
I guess we'd better get them out of there before they get involved with those beasts again.
Pa! 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 Come in! Daddy! Mommy!
Come on, quick.
Wendy! Wendy, Peter, what's the matter?
Hurry up. Open the nursery. Wendy! Peter!
Well, they aren't anywhere. Wendy! Peter!
Peter!
Oh.
The door. Open the door. They've locked it from the outside. Peter! Peter, open up! Peter!
Don't let them! Don't let them turn off the nursery!
Now, don't get ridiculous, children. It's time to go.
Wendy! Wendy, open the door, dear!
Let us out. Peter, open the door. It's time to go. Open the door.
George! George, the lion!
Peter, do you hear me? Open this door.
They're all around us! George!
Son! Son, do you hear me? Let us out.
George, look out! They're coming!
When Dr. David McLean came a half hour later, he found the two children in the nursery sitting in the center of the open glade, eating a picnic lunch. Beyond them was the water hole in the yellow Veldt land. Above was the hot sun. Dr. McLean saw at a distance the lions fighting and clawing, and then settling down to feed in silence under the shady trees.
Hi, kids. Where are your mom and dad?
Oh, they'll be here directly.
Good. Good. We've got to get going.
He squinted at the lions with his hands up to his eyes. Now they were done feeding. They moved to the water hole to drink. A shadow flickered as the vultures dropped down from the blazing sky to finish what the lions had left.
Dr. McLean. Dr. McLean,
Huh? What?
have a cup of tea?
You've just heard another adventure into the unknown world of the future, the world of Dimension X. How soon we actually build a spaceship to conquer the stars depends upon many factors, not the least of which is a man, the overwhelming desire to create such a ship, and the power to have it done. Next week we tell the story of such a man as Dimension X brings you Nelson Bond's The Vital Factor.
Dimension X is presented transcribed each week by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of the magazine Astounding Science Fiction. Today, Dimension X has presented The Veldt, written for radio by Ernest Kenoy from Ray Bradbury's The Illustrated Man. Included in the cast were Leslie Woods and Bill Quinn as the parents, Joan Laser and David Anderson as the children. Your host was Norman Rose. Music by Albert Berman. Dimension X is produced by William Welch and directed by Fred Way.
Exciting news for adventure seekers. Join us on a thrilling journey through the vibrant landscapes and diverse culture of Brazil. Lost in Brazil brings you to captivating videos showcasing heart-pounding adventures, mouth-watering cuisine, and hidden gems of this incredible country. From bustling cities to tranquil beaches, our videos capture the essence of Brazil's beauty. Experience the warmth of its people, the rhythm of its music, and the thrill of exploration. Click on the link in the description to find out more.
Adventures in time and space. told in future tense. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction, bring you Dimension X. I doubt that anywhere on Earth there's a man or a woman or a child who doesn't know the name Wayne Crowder. I doubt whether there's a human being who hasn't at one time or another used one of the Crowder products, the can opener or the razor blade, or the patented tooth powder dispenser, or the Crowder improved slideless fastener. There's a fortune in such products, and Wayne Crowder was the man to squeeze that fortune out, penny by penny. And he did. And in the magazines which write about men of business, he was described as a man of ice and stone and ink and steel. No warmth, and a heart to pump blood, not feel human emotion. But he took some of his money and he built himself a towering skyscraper. And he placed his private office at the very peak. And he built a battery of buttons into his desk so that when he wanted something, all he ever had to do was press a button. And like genies springing out of the bottle, the proper personnel would come running.
Yes, Mr. Crowder.
Get me my engineers.
Yes, sir. Right away, Mr. Crowder. Mr. Crowder wants his engineers at once. Here are your engineers, sir.
All right, close the door and get out. Now, gentlemen, sit down. Gentlemen, I hired you because you're the best engineers I was able to find. They tell me you can do anything. They tell me if there's a scientific fact known in the world, even if it was discovered 6 hours ago, you gentlemen are up on it. All right, I want to put that to work. Gentlemen, I want you to build me a spaceship.
What? A spaceship, sir?
That's right. I've decided that I'm going to be the man who gives space flight to mankind. Any questions?
Well, I don't know, sir. We can design such a ship. That part's not too hard. The basic blueprint has been in existence for many years. The submarine is the model for the shape and the form, but...
Yes?
But we have no way of providing the motor to power such a ship.
When the ship's ready to fly, there'll be a motor.
Sir, I don't like to contradict you, but you see, scientists have been searching for a motor power for spaceships for decades now without success. You'll have a ship, but we can't lift that ship from the Earth's surface. That is, not to the point of free flight, at any rate.
Mr. Crowder, you see, you'll be spending millions of dollars, hundreds of millions, perhaps, for nothing.
What's your name?
Phillips, sir.
You're fired.
What?
Go down to the cashier and draw your pay and get out.
But, Mr. Crowder...
Get out. Nobody who works for me thinks of how much something costs. We use money. We don't let expense provide a rationalization for not beginning a project. Phillips, what are you waiting for? Get out. Gentlemen, any other comments?
The ship will be built, of course, Mr. Crowder, but the fact still remains. We can't power it.
You design the ship. I'll find the motor for you.
Where, sir?
That's a fair question. The answer is, I don't know. But somewhere in the world, there's a man who does know the secret. Long before Henry Ford, there was Leonardo da Vinci. And long before him, there was Archimedes. And long before him, there was some Stone Age genius who invented the wheel when the only thing the mob could conceive was dragging things around on their backs. I want that motor. And I'll root out the man who has the theory which will let us build it. I'll find him. Money will be available to him, an organization, my backing, and we'll get what we want.
You're going to be plagued with a host of crackpots, sir.
Obviously. So it's going to be your job to separate the wheat from the chaff. But anyone who shows up with a promising idea, no matter how fantastic it sounds, is going to have a chance to show what it can do.
How quickly do you want this done, sir?
Yesterday.
Yes, sir.
Anything you need.
Well, Mr. Crowder, we'll need construction yards, sir, and certain machinery and a great many materials, of course. A labor force.
Get them. Send me the bills. I don't want to be bothered with minor details.
Yes, sir. One more thing, sir. Phillips, sir.
Yes?
We need him, sir. He's a top man on electronics. He's a vital cog in our team.
I don't want Phillips working for me. That's clear, I hope. Who else in the country knows what he does?
Not one in this country, sir. There's a man in Asia, though.
Get him.
We've tried before, Mr. Crowder. He's working on an important project for his country.
I'm not concerned with details. Now get that man, pay him what he wants, but get him.
Sir, you don't understand.
I understand, man.
If this man quits his job, that whole project will collapse. It means the welfare of many people, millions of people in his country. And he has a high sense of patriotism.
By that sense of patriotism. Now, that's all. I don't want to see you again until you have a report of work in progress.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Crowder.
There's a man named Phillips going to draw his pay. I want 2 company policemen to meet him at the cashier's office and escort him from there directly off the premises, and I want them to be emphatic about it.
Yes, Mr. Crowder.
And notify the newspapers, the television, and the radio networks, periodicals, and the scientific journals that I'll receive the press in my office this afternoon at 3:30. I have an important announcement to make. Gentlemen, now you can finish your drinks later. Gentlemen of the press and ladies, it's my pleasure to be able to tell you that I'm in the process of constructing a spaceship. Any questions?
Did you say a spaceship?
That's right.
That's what I thought you said. I knew the drinks weren't that strong.
Well, yeah. I expected it might be something of a shock to you all.
Mr. Crowder, is this spaceship under construction now?
It is.
Well, according to your plans, is it intended for interstellar flight or merely for flight between planets?
This is a beginning only, and my intentions are quite modest. I expect the ship to be able to pursue a course between Earth and Mars or between Earth and Venus. For the present, any longer trips are not contemplated.
You've solved the problem of motor force, then?
No, I haven't.
But what sort of... You mean you don't have any means of propulsion for the spaceship?
That problem is not solved as yet. It will be. That's why I called you in this afternoon. I want you to announce that I have $100,000 in cash waiting for the man or woman who first brings me the basic idea for such a motor. That's all I have to say for now. Finish your refreshments, ladies and gentlemen. I'll let you know from time to time how things go.
Mr. Crowder, one more question, please.
Yes.
Do you have a name for the spaceship yet?
No, not yet.
Then let me suggest one.
Yeah?
Crowder's Folly.
Quiet, all of you. Quiet! What is your paper?
The Daily Times, sir.
Inform the company police that under no circumstances is any representative of the Daily Times ever to be allowed on company property again.
Wayne Crowder is offering $100,000 to any inventor who can produce an engine capable of driving a spaceship.
Wayne Crowder is offering $100,000 to any inventor who can produce
an engine capable of driving a spaceship.
It was Crowder's Folly, but the word of what he wanted circulated to the far corners of the globe. And it was known in the white ice block huts of the Eskimos and in the grass-thatched villages of Central Africa, as well as places less remote. And the Crowder office became the mecca and the heaven for the lunatic fringe of humanity. Their blueprints and scale models clogged its corridors, and more applicants came to the great skyscraper.
I told you, I don't want these people in my office till the screen. Now get out! Get out! Every time I open that door, they surge in like a tidal wave.
I have a progress report for you, sir, on the construction of the ship.
Go ahead.
I've spent $13 million for the yards, the equipment, including 3 gantry cranes, several dozen presses, thousands of dies, and so forth.
Go on.
We have 12,000 people working for us directly, not including subcontractors and their labor force.
Well, what about the ship?
Mr. Crowder, the ship is finished as far as we can go. Certain additional construction cannot be done now because it depends on the shape and the mass of the engine, on the type of fuel, on the weight of that fuel.
I see. All right, lay off everybody we don't need.
I've ordered that, sir. Miss Crowder, is it possible that no one will turn up with a motor?
That's the one thing that's not possible. He will come. Money and determination will buy anything. Now close the door on your way out.
Yes.
Order the proper department to put a name on the forward end of the ship. I want letters in pure gold 1 foot high. The name of the ship is Crowder's Folly. Get it done today.
The sun rose in the morning and glinted rose on the silver sheen of the hollow ship's skin. The sun set at night and glinted rose on the silver sheen of the hollow ship's skin. The golden letters on the prow held out the fury of Crowder for the world to see. A staff of 50 was employed as time went on in taking rust preventive measures to ensure the ship's well-being. In a year, the first experiment seemed ready to bear fruit, and a test was held. The atomic fission motor.
In exactly 45 seconds now, we'll hold the test, Mr. Crowder. The actual trial of the motor is taking place 3 miles from here. Now, this dial here registers the nucleonic activity. And this dial right here is thrust. Over here, this dial is a measure of the effectiveness of the shielding in terms of outside radioactivity. That sound you hear is our generators right here, building up power to supply the motor by remote control. Now, if this needle goes around to the part of the dial marked in red, there will be an explosion. Are there any questions, sir?
Proceed with the tests.
Watch the needle, sir. 8,000. 8,500. 9,000. 10. 11. 12. 15. That's an overload now, sir. 18. 20. I don't know how much more it can stand, sir.
What happened? Your generator blew out. What kind of...
I beg your pardon, sir. The motor blew up.
What are you talking about? I'd hear, sir.
You see, sir, it takes a while for the vibrations of an explosion to travel 3 miles and then reach through 15 feet of concrete.
I see. Well, there are other experiments in progress. Let me know when they're ready for testing.
Yes, sir. Mr. Crowder, the inventor of that motor had to be with it, of course, during the tests, but he has, that is, he had a family.
The fool knew what he was doing. He understood the danger. Now line up those experiments and don't turn anyone away if he seems to have the remotest possibility of success. Now, I'm telling you, my man will come. Money and determination will buy anything.
And strangely enough, Crowder was right. Because one day there came to his office a stranger, a small man. He looked even smaller in that tremendous room. He was an unusual visitor in that he carried no briefcase fat with blueprints, schematics, or formulae. He was unusual in that he neither blustered, cowered, nor deferred to his host. Oh, he was a pleasant little stranger, bird-like of eye and movement, bright and smiling.
Mr. Crowder, my name is Wilkins. I can power that ship you want.
So?
Of course, what I have in mind won't be anything like that meaningless heat for you.
What?
Well, Rocket, my motor requires a difference here in my head.
It so happens that I'm presently supporting half a dozen people who make the... None of them been successful. What makes you think your idea will work?
Simple enough. The common magnet.
What?
Electromagnetism. Utilization of the force of gravity, or its opposite in this case, countergravity.
Thank you very much. If you'll forgive me now.
Just a moment, Mr. Crowder. There's one thing more. This.
I've seen pieces of metal before, thank you.
How high from your desk would you say I'm holding it?
I'm very sorry, Mr. Wilkins. Do you want to leave or do you want to be escorted out?
This will only take a second, sir. How high from your desk would you say I'm holding this piece of metal?
A foot and a half.
And if I let go, then in less than a second, a fraction of a second, it should fall to your desk.
Now, look, I don't want the surface of that desk marred.
But will it be? You see, I have let go of the metal, is that right?
What good Lord.
Many seconds ago, it should have crashed to the desk, am I right?
This is incredible.
Well, if you want to speak to me anymore, I'll be right outside.
But it hasn't fallen.
That's right, sir. It hasn't fallen.
It floats in the air.
That's right, sir. It floats in the air.
How do you do it?
Well, why don't you call your engineers and ask them? I'll wait outside.
Get me my engineers immediately. Mr. Wilkins, you're quite right. This piece of metal is apparently counter-gravity. My engineers can give me no explanation.
Thank you, sir.
What do you want?
I want to build a spaceship using this material. No great expenditure, 1/100th of the cost your behemoth sitting out there in your building yard, and 3 other things. Workshop, expert mechanical assistance, and an answer to one question.
What is the question?
Why do you want so much to build this ship?
Frankly, because I love power. Because I'm ambitious. I want to be the master, not only of one world, but of worlds.
But that's an honest answer. And that's as far as your thinking goes.
What else is there?
But there's my answer. I want to leave this planet and go to Mars. Because there are strange wonders there. Because there will be scarlet sunsets over barren wastes. And in the star-strewn night, the thin, cold air of a dying world stirring in restless sighs across the valleys of the dry canals. You may laugh out loud if you wish, Mr. Crowder. I prefer that to the peculiar repressed smile you're exhibiting now.
You're a very lucky man, Mr. Wilkins, to have scientific talent, because your talents as a poet are inferior and very sentimental. Well, all right, you're a sentimentalist and I'm manologic. No matter, we can work together, you and I. Your workshop will be ready by morning. If you need money or materials or personnel, just tell my engineers. You'll get it, or I'll know the reason why, and that's all.
Thank you, sir.
Get me my engineers.
Yes, Mr. Crowder.
Now, we have 50 men working on preserving that useless hulk out there in the construction yard. Lay them off. Now, how many others?
But the ship will deteriorate if we do that, sir.
Let it rot. Lay them off.
Yes.
Now, how many other employees are still working for us on the project?
About 3,000, sir, including the people working on experimental motors.
Get rid of them.
But, sir...
Get rid of them.
Well, Mr. Crowder, I never thought you'd drop this project. You were so adamant on it.
I'm not dropping anything but dead wood. Well, you saw what Wilkins had to offer. He's my man, and the rest is junk.
Mr. Crowder, he might fail. We ought to have a minimum of protection against...
I say he won't fail.
Yes.
You just lay everybody off that isn't needed. Give him 2 weeks' pay and my thanks for a thankless job well done, that's all.
Yes, sir. I'll get it done, sir. What a year's work.
Yes, and 10 years or 20 years, now do the same thing. That's why you're an engineer and I'm an executive. That's why you work for me, because when I have to, I can be ruthless with my own mistakes. What are you waiting for?
I was just thinking, Mr. Crowder, what would happen to me if my usefulness to you were over? I've worked for you for 30 years now.
Just don't give me any occasion to consider your usefulness terminated. That oughtn't be too hard.
Yes.
What?
Nothing, sir. I'll make the arrangements at once.
Who are you? What do you want?
I tried to stop him, sir.
Well, speak up, man.
My name is Jarvis Ashtree. I am an electronics expert.
Oh, yes, I remember. You're the, Asian. Well, come in.
Do you want me, sir?
Never mind. Just stay outside. Close the door behind you.
Yes, sir.
Sit down, Vizushtali.
Thank you, no. I want to give you a gift before I leave.
Oh, you leaving? I thought we still needed you.
I resigned.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm told you're a good man.
I want you to understand what's behind this gift. I was working on a power project in my country which would have meant a tremendous rise in the standard of living for millions of my people. I was unable to resist the money you offered.
Had you resisted, even more money would have been forthcoming. I placed no limit on your worth to me.
I understand. But you see, I did not come without a sense of guilt, because there was no one in my country who could take my place.
I would assume that.
And now I discovered that what I did was for nothing. The spaceship on which I worked is being dismantled.
That's right.
So I have been corrupted by you at a whim. I think you have too much power, sir. I think you use your power for evil, selfish purposes.
Selfish, yes. Only sentimentality is evil.
I think otherwise. And so, in order that you shall not corrupt anyone else, I have this gift for you. Here you are, sir.
Oh.
And just one more shot for good measure, to make sure you are really dead. Good.
There's a man on his way out by the name of Jarvis Ushtali, an engineer. He's not to be molested. He probably won't stop at the cashier, so I want a check for 6 months' salary in advance mailed to his home address. The man showed a certain quality of ruthlessness which is deserving of recognition. And have the chief of the company police bring me a new bulletproof vest. This one seems to have been dented in 2 places.
According to Wilkins' plans, as executed by Crowder's engineers, was finished within 4 months. It was small. It was shaped like a disc. It gleamed brightly, even in the smoky haze of an October sunset. Inside, Crowder and Mr. Wilkins, in a small cubicle at the heart of the machine, were surrounded by many instruments of a complicated nature. Outside, huge crowds gathered to witness the test. They stirred and murmured, waiting restlessly, as inside the control room of the craft, Wilkins installed the final secret part he had not revealed to those who built his driving apparatus.
Well, Wilkins, what's holding us up?
Nothing now. Or sentiment, perhaps.
What?
A wish to look once more on Earth's familiar scenes. Here, now the screening is removed. Look at the people out there.
Never mind looking out there. Let's leave that thing closed. You're a sentimental fool. Or are you afraid? Or did you decide at that last minute that your invention won't work?
It will work. Oh, sit down, Mr. Crowder. Do me a favor. When I press this button, will you please press the button on the arm of the chair you're seated on? I'll tell you when.
Turn on your motor. I want to hear its roar and feel its tug as we cut loose from Earth's gravity and fly outward into space. That might be a moment in which I'd share your sentimentality.
Press your button now, sir. Thank you.
This is all hoax. I'm beginning to distrust you, Wilkins. When are we going to take off? You said at 5 sharp, and it's 2 minutes after 5 now. Well, do we move or don't we?
Mr. Crowder, we're already moving. The button you pushed was to nullify the effects of acceleration. If you don't mind, I'd like to open the screen again. Now, if you care to look for yourself.
Wilkins, we're in space. Look down at Earth. How far we've come. Why, it's no bigger than a toy balloon. A dime. A firefly. Man, Wilkins, you done it.
Yes.
I swore to be the first man to conquer space, and I've done it. It's a triumph of power and ambition.
And sentiment.
No, blast sentiment. Your maudlin dreaming would have died unborn except for me. I made this possible, Wilkins. Don't ever forget that. My capital, my forcefulness, my will. Look out there. Space. Stars that never were seen from Earth. But this is only the beginning. We'll build a larger model, one great enough to hold 100 men, 1,000, and cargo besides. I'm the master of the planets. Wilkins, turn back now.
No.
What? I said turn back.
No.
We've proved the ship can fly. Now turn back. I want to start work at once in preparation for the long flights to come.
Not so. We will go on.
What are you doing, defying me? Are you crazy? I'll break your puny little body into pieces.
Mr. Crowder, can you control this ship? Would you like to be stranded out here in space? Just adrift in space without control? Would you like that?
Turn back.
No.
You're crazy. You're crazy.
Crazy? No. Sentimental? Yes. Your money and ambition paved the way, that's true. But sentiment was the vital factor that sent me to you. You'll forgive me if I remove these primitive clothes.
Who are you?
Well, it's all right, Mr. Crowder. There is no need to be so terrified because you've had your first close look at a Martian going home.
You've just heard another adventure into the unknown world of the future. The world of... A private detective receives many strange assignments, but none has ever received one quite like that given to the investigator we're going to tell you about next week, as we bring you from the pages of the September issue of astounding science fiction, Untitled Story.
Dimension X is presented each week by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of the magazine Astounding Science Fiction. Today, Dimension X has presented The Vital Factor, written for radio by Howard Rodman from the story by Nelson Bond. Featured in the cast were Raymond Edward Johnson as Crowder, John McGovern as the engineer, and Louis Van Ruten as the Martian. Your host was Norman Rose. Music by Albert Berman. Dimension X is produced by William Welch and directed by Fred Way.
Dragnet, the story of your police force, is next on NBC.
Adventures in time and space, told in future tense. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction, bring you Dimension X.
My name is Donald Hasten, private investigator. Maybe you heard about me. I cracked the Turner kidnapping back in 1946. It wasn't very hard. I paid off a few stool pigeons and went right to the hideout. It did my reputation a lot of good, though. Enough good for me to be called into the mayor's office down at City Hall to see Big Mike Flaherty himself.
Well, sit down, Haitian. Sit down.
Thanks.
You'll have to forgive me for speaking so low.
That's a bad case of laryngitis.
Yes, it is. Haitian, I've been a fool.
Well, you didn't get to be mayor of a city like this by being a fool.
Well, you know, Haitian, when you get old, you want to believe a lot of things. You want to believe so hard that sometimes you throw your common sense right out of the window. You get hardening of the cranial arteries to become stupid.
Well, what's the pitch, Mr. Mayor? You didn't call me in to discuss the philosophy of growing old gracefully.
Haitian, I want you to do some investigating for me. Naturally, it must be confidential.
This is a confidential business.
All right. Yesterday, a man came into this office and sold me a vial of radioactive water that he called the elixir of life. It's supposed to cure you of any disease and keep you healthy enough so you live 100 years.
It's none of my business, Mr. Mayor, but how much did you drop on this gold brick?
It's about $50,000.
You don't seem the type somehow.
And come a little closer, Haitian. I'm going to tell you something my political opponents would give their right arms to know. This isn't laryngitis.
It isn't?
It's inaccessible for surgery. X-rays would be dangerous. How much time I have left, I don't know. But I live like a man who's going to the chair. Haitian, if I want a vacation, I pack up and go. If I want a drink, I take one. If somebody comes to me with a vial of liquid and says it'll keep me alive, I think twice before I throw him out as a crackpot.
What do you want me to do, get your money back?
No, the money isn't important.
You mean if the loyal opposition got hold of the story, they could use it against you?
That's part of it, Haitian. However, you don't have the whole picture yet. Shortly after I bought the stuff, I received an anonymous phone call. I was warned not to take it. I was told it was poison and would kill me in a matter of seconds.
Ah, the plot thickens.
Now, you can appreciate my position. I feel like a man who can either save his life or destroy himself by taking that stuff.
Well, the phone call might be a hoax.
Yes, and so might the elixir of life.
Yeah, very likely. What do you want me to do about it?
Investigate the man who sold it to me. Find out who's behind him, what he knows, where he goes. Nothing else, I want that 50 grand back.
What's in it for me?
$1,000. If he's on the level. 10% if you get the dough back. Deal?
Deal.
Here's the vial. And here's his card.
Uh-huh. Arthur C. Lehman, longevity expert, 45 Billings course. Okay, Mr. Mayor, you got yourself a boy.
Good. I'll leave your working name and phone number with my secretary. I'll have her send you a check.
Right, I'll call you.
You were in there a long time. How'd you make out?
Swell. I bought the outer drive for only $10 and the cost of mailing.
That's kind of high. Last week we were selling it for only $5.
I'm sorry. I've been listening to too many detective programs.
It isn't polite to stare.
I was just wondering what your name was.
Sign on the desk says Katharina Cooper.
I'll call you Kathy. Oh, I'm supposed to leave my name and phone number.
Go ahead.
The name is Donald Hasten. But then you knew that, honey. You've been listening to the mayor call me by it for the last half hour. You forgot to shut off the intercom switch. Big Mike's getting kind of careless, isn't he? The look on her face said she was feeding me to the vultures piece by piece. I left my card and walked out. By the time I got home, it was dusk. It was the time of early evening when every bachelor wishes he wasn't one, especially after meeting a girl like Kathy. The phone began to ring just as I put my key in the latch. I made it on the fourth ring. Hello?
Is this Mr. Donald Hasten?
I live alone and don't like it. Were you expecting someone else to answer?
This is a warning, Mr. Hasten. Don't touch your bed.
I'm sorry, but I don't like to sleep on the floor. The joys of being a private detective. Oh, hello, Jocko. Ha ha. How's my boy? That's a good boy. Oh, Jocko, be glad you're not a private detective with all kinds of crackpots calling you up and trying to get your goat. Nice boy. Sometimes I wish I had shaggy ears like you so I couldn't hear them. Come on, boy, come on. In the bedroom for a change into something comfortable. What's the matter, boy? You want to go out? Well, you just wait until I sit down here and get these shoes. Hey there, don't jump on that bedspread. Now, you know better than that. Jocko! Jocko! Oh, God. The bedspread closed on him the way a Venus flytrap closes on a fly. When I looked more closely, I saw that the bedspread had silvery threads of fine spring steel woven into it. It had been set like a bear trap to spring shut and strangle anything that touched it. Somebody wanted to get rid of me pretty badly, somebody to whom I had suddenly become very dangerous. Instead, they got Jocko. My poor little Jocko. I decided to take a fast drive over to Billings Court to see Arthur Lehman, longevity expert.
Well, what?
I'm looking for Mr. Lehman's office.
I'm the janitor.
You didn't need to explain.
He isn't in. Mr. Lehman isn't in.
I just said I was looking for his office.
Oh, a detective.
No, I'm really a vacuum cleaner salesman. I just had these credentials printed up for fun. Here, buy your wife a muskrat coat.
I can't take any money. I'll just keep this till it's spent.
What floor is it on?
Up those steps, rear.
Thanks. Now, let's see now. I ought to have one that fits this. There we are. Now, there should be a light switch somewhere. Let's see if I can...
Perhaps I can be of assistance. Looking for someone?
Mr. Lehman?
Yes.
The janitor told me you weren't in, so I...
You picked the lock.
Yes, I hope you don't mind.
Not at all.
If you'd put down the gun.
I like to hold it. It gives me a feeling of power. Now, Mr.
Hasten.
Mr. Hasten, if you will tell me just who you are and what you're doing here.
I couldn't sleep. My bed had a dead dog in it. I thought I should consult a health expert.
Who sent you?
Nobody sent me. I'm like Topsy. I just growed. I'd like to keep on growing, Mr. Lehman. I don't like people trying to kill me. And I don't like people killing my dog.
What makes you think I would try to kill you?
Just a hunch.
If I really wanted to kill you, I could do it right now, perfectly legally, since you broke in here.
That'd be hard to prove.
Fortunately for you, Mr. Hasten, I don't have the faintest interest in trying to kill you. On the contrary, it was I who telephoned and warned you about that bed.
You know about that phone call?
I ought to. I made it.
What's the pitch, Mr. Lehman?
I can't tell you what the pitch is, Mr. Hasten, but I will tell you this. Give that vial of liquid back to Flaherty and let him cure himself.
Or poison himself.
Sure.
Look, Mr. Lehman, I wasn't born yesterday. Don't give me this elixir of life stuff. There ain't no such thing. And don't try to top me off this case by pretending you're on my side.
Mr. Hasten, I warn you, you're playing around with something much too big for you to handle. That vial is the only one of its kind in existence today. The liquid it contains will cure Flaherty if he drinks it.
You know, I've seen lots of carnival men peddling flukum and ink sticks, but you're good. You almost convinced me. Almost, but not quite.
You're a very stubborn fool, Mr. Hasten.
Give back that 50 grand and I'll become very unstubborn.
I have a suggestion.
I'll bet you do.
Why don't you siphon off the tiniest drop of that elixir and have it tested on, say, a rabbit? Then, if it's non-poisonous, you can go back to Flaherty and have him drink it.
And while we're proving it's Carmel water, you're on a fast boat to Outer Mongolia with 50 G's.
Come with me.
Where to?
A reputable biological laboratory, any one you choose.
Suppose I don't want to play.
Then I'll kill you. You will feel my gun against your side, so don't try anything. Shall we go?
Before we do, just one thing.
Well?
If you didn't try to kill me, who did?
Who else knew about it?
Nobody. Nobody except Flaherty, you, me, and Flaherty's secretary.
Shall we go, Mr. Hasten?
Well, yes, I believe I could make such a test. Of course, we'd mean injecting at least a cc into an infected guinea pig. Then we'd have to wait and do a biopsy.
How long would it take?
24 hours at least.
Okay, how much?
$50.
My friend will pay you.
Your friend?
Yeah, the gentleman will... Holy jumping sunfish.
Sir?
Look, you saw me come in with a guy just a minute ago, didn't you?
Yes, sir, but he left when you started talking to me.
Isn't that just dandy?
Is something wrong?
No, nothing much. You know what Barnum said about one being born every minute?
Yes, sir.
Well, he was talking about me. Well, I better get going.
Oh, yes, sir. Oh, sir. What about that test?
Okay, I suppose you might as well do it just for laughs. Send the report on the bill to Donald Hasten, private investigator, Cater Building.
Yes, sir.
I knew there wasn't much point in going back after Lehman. He was probably well on his way by this time. It was an all-around phony story from beginning to end. But still, somewhere, hanging around the edges of my brain, was a funny kind of hunch. If Lehman had wanted to kill me, then who called me up to warn me? Lehman himself? Why? It didn't figure. I stopped to look up an address in the phone book, and then I invested 10 cents.
Hello?
Kathy?
Yes?
This is Sherlock.
Oh, I'm glad
Glad?
that you called. I wanted to apologize to you for eavesdropping this afternoon.
Why don't you do it over a cup of coffee? I have to talk to you.
It's very late.
We'll sleep late tomorrow, please.
All right. Well, I meet you.
There's a coffee shop near your place. I'll be there in 15 minutes. She came in wearing a blue nylon dress and a short gray jacket. They went real well with her blue eyes and soft blonde hair. She seemed genuinely happy to see me. It threw me for a few seconds. And then I reminded myself I had already won the P.T. Barnum Award once that night. Sit down, Kathy.
What is it?
Do you know a man named Arthur C. Lehman?
Am I supposed to?
I'll refresh your memory. I had a talk with His Honor about him.
I don't remember.
Look, I used to have a little Scotch terrier named Jocko. We liked each other. He used to lick my hand. All I want to know is, are you mixed up in it? What goes on?
I don't know anything about it.
Listen, Kathy, maybe I'm getting sentimental in my old age, but for a moment there, when you walked in, I thought you seemed genuinely glad to see me. Was it because you were glad I was still alive? Come on, give.
Don, I like you. You're a nice guy. Why don't you let it alone? Call Flaherty and turn down the assignment. Give him back his vial and tell him you're not interested in finding Lehman. Would you do it?
Well, if you want to help me so much, why not tell me what it's all about?
I can't. I'd like to, but I can't. I've told you too much already.
Somebody's got you real scared, honey. Who is it? You're too nice a girl to be mixed up in this garbage with a guy like Lehman. Come on, tell me.
I can't. Just believe that, please. Get out of it now before it's too late.
Okay, honey, you can play it that way if you want, but to me it's as thin as a bowl of restaurant soup. Poor Jocko knew something and couldn't tell me. You know something and you won't tell me. Good night. I didn't go home. I spent the night in a local YMCA and I didn't sleep very well. It went around and around in my brain like a squirrel in a cage, but it didn't add up to anything when it came out. In the morning, I went straight to my office and locked myself in with a bottle of gin. By 10 o'clock, I had decided to quit the job, but before I could call Flaherty and tell him, the phone rang. Go ahead.
Mr. Hasten.
You got it.
This is Dr. Gregory of the Bayside Biological Laboratory.
If you want the
It
money...
isn't about the money.
What's up?
Mr. Hasten, do you have the formula for that serum you gave me?
No, I know a guy who might, but he's in outer Mongolia by now. Why?
Well, I've never seen anything quite like it. I don't know if it was just a freak of fate or
What
not.
happened?
Well, that pig, that diseased guinea pig, Mr. Hasten, well, it completely recovered in 12 hours. Not only that, Mr. Hasten, but there is not a trace of the malignancy. That pig looks healthy enough to live another 100 years.
I could feel the sweat soaking into my undershirt as I put down the receiver. Where do we go from here? Was Lehman on the level after all? The next stop was Lehman's office. Maybe he wasn't in outer Mongolia. It was noon before I got there. The same janitor was on duty in the same dirty lobby. Hello there.
Hi. You want something?
Lehman.
Who?
Lehman.
Never heard of him.
Now, wait a minute, Junior. You remember me. Last night, $5, rear office, first floor.
I don't know what you're talking about, mister.
Oh, you want another 5, huh, Junior? Well, this time I don't buy. Get out of my way.
Now, listen, mister, I can't let you just walk into that office.
I'll try to stop me if you want to work tomorrow.
But there's nobody in there. That office has...
We'll see about that, Junior, right now. Holy mackerel.
I told you, mister.
The room was bare. There were caps on the electrical outlets. Everything in the room was covered by a 6 weeks accumulation of dust that was undisturbed except for the footprints of the janitor and myself. Yet yesterday there had been a rug, telephones, desks, chairs, file cabinets. I checked the door number. 1B, that was it, all right. Then I checked the janitor. He was standing there just looking stupid. But he looked a little too stupid. I figured I could make him talk, so I tried an old trick. I reached inside my hat band, took out an ordinary pin, and jabbed him hard on the arm.
Hey, Al! What's the big idea, mister?
Sit down, Junior. Sit down over here on the window ledge.
Okay. Now, listen, I don't know anything.
Maybe you saw something like this in the movies, Junior. There's this guy, see, a killer. And he sticks another guy with a needle that has a slow poison on the end of it, like I have, right in this little glass vial. See it? And only this killer has the antidote. If the other guy doesn't talk, it's curtains in 1 minute. If he does, the killer will give him the antidote. Okay, Junior, talk.
Well, I don't believe you. There's no poison in that pin. It's a joke.
It's up to you, Junior. Don't you feel something different, though? Feel your heart speed up a little from the poison?
Now, listen, I don't know anything.
It makes you sweat, too. When it reaches the brain, that's when it really begins to work. You got 30 seconds to spill. Otherwise...
Please.
25 seconds.
Okay. He was here. He gave me $100 to forget it. He rented the office only a couple of days ago, and then last night he said he was moving out. Said I shouldn't mention to anybody that he'd been here. And now our lady was gone. Files, furniture, and all. Don't know how I moved all that stuff out so fast. Now, that's all I know. Honest, that's all I know. Now, for God's sake, mister, give me that stuff. Don't let me just croak. I feel it in my blood.
Relax, Junior. There was no poison. You're all right.
A trick.
Yeah, a trick. Thanks for the information.
A trick. He tricked me. He said he'd kill me.
Thanks again. There was Mr. Hasten again, right back on the horns of ye old dilemma. The only thing I knew for sure at this point was that the serum was apparently not poisonous. And since my client was most concerned with that, I made my next stop the office of His Honor, Mayor Big Mike Flaherty. I had the vial in my coat pocket. Hello, beautiful.
Oh.
I want to see His Honor.
He isn't in.
I'll go into his office and wait.
You can't.
But I can. Come on in. I want to talk to you anyway.
Please.
Come on. Shut the door, huh? No? Okay, I'll shut it. Now sit. Okay, baby. Let's have a heart-to-heart conversation.
I see you didn't listen to my warning.
No, I didn't. What's more, I found out that this layman character is on the level about the serum. It works.
You found that out, too.
That's right. It leads me to an interesting conclusion, Kathy. Namely, that you're the one who tried to booby-trap me.
All right. Have it your way. What do you intend to do?
Well, first, I'm going to give Flaherty that serum and let him cure himself.
You mustn't do that.
Why not?
I can't tell you, but you mustn't. Down in a few minutes, Mike Flaherty will be here. Before he comes, I'll have to ask you to give me that serum.
Try again. I don't hear so good.
Maybe you'll hear this. It works, too, so don't try anything.
Well, so now it comes out. Okay, Kathy, if you want to play that way, go ahead.
Give me that serum.
Why don't you shoot?
I warn you, I may have no choice. Give it to me.
Pull the trigger, baby. You're weakening.
Don, please, don't make me kill you. Please.
What is it, baby? True love or just weak in the knees?
Oh,
You better hand me that gun.
Oh, Don, what can I do? I'm so mixed up.
Yeah, that's better. Now, what is it, Kathy? You're no killer. Tell me what's going on here. Maybe I can help you. You gotta trust me.
No, I can't, Don. Believe me. I want to, but it's against the prime injunction.
The what?
Oh, you wouldn't understand. There's no way I could make you understand. Only believe me, Don, because I love you. You mustn't let Lehman succeed in giving that serum to Mike Flaherty. The consequences would be unimaginable.
You know, Kathy, If you had come to me and lettled right at the start, maybe we could have worked something out. Maybe I'd be listening to you now. But you're a little late because I just heard Big Mike come into the outer office. He'll be here in a second.
Don't, please.
Come in.
How do you do?
Layman.
I see she's been trying to get the vial from you, Mr. Hasten. I was afraid of that. I came over to make certain that Mr. Flaherty is permitted to drink the serum.
Well, that's very noble of you, Layman, but I don't quite understand it. You have your 50 grand. What do you care whether Mike Flaherty lives or dies?
Mr. Hasten, if Mike Flaherty dies, the opposition candidate will win the next election. That means a new political party will come into dominance in this city. The next president will be a representative of that party. I am most anxious to see that that does not happen. The entire future of our country, indeed, the history of the world, would be affected by it.
He's telling the truth, Don. But events must be allowed to take their normal course.
Don't listen to her, Hasten. She's tried to kill you once. She'd do it again. You know I'm telling the truth about that serum. She wants to see Flaherty die. Go ahead, ask her.
It's true, isn't it, Kathy? You want Mike Flaherty to die.
You don't understand.
Listen, I'm getting pretty fed up with being told I don't understand. Understand what? I understand that in the past 24 hours, somebody's tried to kill me. I understand that Lehman's serum will cure a guinea pig and probably a human. I understand that unless I'm completely insane, the entire contents of Lehman's office vanished in a few minutes. I understand that you two seem to be more concerned with some nonsense that's going to take place in the future than... Holy smokes. Oh, no, it's too fantastic. Just too fantastic to even think about.
Something troubling you, Mr. Hasten? Perhaps I can help you.
Perhaps you can, Lehman. I'm going to ask you just one question.
Very well.
When are you from? That does it, doesn't it, Mr. Lehman? I've guessed your game.
I'm afraid you have, Mr. Hasten. I am, as you surmise, a traveler from the future. And since you've stumbled upon it, perhaps Miss Cooper here would like to fill in her part of the story. But before she does, up your hands, both of you. Higher. Don't move. I'll take that gun, Mr. Hasten. Now, Miss Cooper, you may enlighten our backward friend.
Go ahead, Kathy.
Both Lehman and myself are from the future, Don.
Why didn't you tell me?
I couldn't. The prime injunction to time travelers is never to reveal their identity. The penalty is death. Since you've guessed it as we feared you might, there's no point in trying to conceal anything further.
Go on.
Mr. Lehman's a fugitive from the era in which we live. Using one of our time machines, he came back to your time. And he sought to change things so that he'd be in a position of great power in the future.
How do you figure to do that?
If Flaherty lived long enough, he could dominate the political picture in America.
You're almost right, except in one detail, Miss Cooper. Flaherty will not survive. He will live only long enough to gain a position of political dominance. Then I will remove him, and my own ancestor will take over the reins of power, leaving them eventually to me.
I get it now. But there's one thing that bothers me. Who was trying to kill me?
I was. You see, I was sent here to track down Lehman. I set that spring before I met you, as soon as Flaherty hired you to help him. I did it on orders from the council. They were afraid you'd be successful in saving Flaherty's life. Then, unfortunately, I fell in love with you and couldn't go through with it. I called and warned you.
You took credit for that, Lehman.
I wanted to enlist you on my side, Mr. Hasten. However, it makes little difference at this point. Since you know the entire story, I have little choice now.
Do you think you can get away with this?
I believe I can, Mr. Hasten.
There are two of us here who know your plans.
By the time Mr. Flaherty returns to his office, there will be only one, myself. Goodbye, Mr. Hasten. It has been a pleasure.
Not without a fight, you... Not many people know how it feels to be shot in the forest. I saw Kathy jump toward the desk and push a button I hadn't noticed before. I remember a thud as if I'd been sandbagged, and then watching in amazement as the crimson spread down the front of my shirt. Then there was a loud roaring noise and everything went black. I died.
Don't try to move, Don. Don't move yet. It'll take a few minutes for you to feel like yourself.
What? Holy jumping sunfish. I'm sitting in Flaherty's office. The blood. There was blood on my shirt, and it's gone now.
Here, drink this.
I don't understand it. Have I been dreaming? Is the whole thing nothing but a nightmare? Well, it seemed so real that there was a man named Lehman. He pointed a gun at my head and shot me. I felt it. I tell you, I felt it.
Don, listen to me. Listen carefully. There isn't much time. And please, darling, please, this time, believe me. Listen.
Go ahead.
You were in this room. Lehman did shoot you. He killed you.
You're insane.
No. What he didn't know was that this office is a time machine. We rigged it that way, hoping to trap him here and take him back to future time. When I saw he was about to shoot you, I jumped for the switch that sets the machine into reverse. We went back into the past, before he killed you. That's where you are now. It's only a few minutes before Lehman is going to knock on that door and come into the office.
But it's too fantastic to believe, Kat.
It's true.
What can I do?
Break the vow. Break it now before Lehman gets here. And then, when he comes, get the jump on him. Since you're the one who went back in time, you'll remember, but Lehman won't.
What'll happen to us?
We'll appeal to the council. Perhaps they'll let us stay together.
I can't make my brain believe this, Kathy.
You must, Don. Don, for our own sake, for the future's sake. Break the vial now. In a moment, it'll be too late.
Well, I don't know, Kathy. Flaherty, his life depends on this little glass bottle.
Don, please. It's Lehman. Don, you've got to decide now. Now, quick. Thank God.
Come in, Mr. Lehman. We're ready for you.
You've just heard another adventure into the unknown world of the future. The world of...
Dimension X is presented each week by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of the magazine Astounding Science Fiction. Today, Dimension X has presented Untitled Story from the current issue of Astounding Science Fiction. It was written for radio by George Lefferts from the story by Frank M. Robinson. Featured in the cast were George Petrie as Hasten, Ann Sargent as Kathy, Bernard Lenrow as Lehman. Your host was Norman Rose, music by Albert Berman. Dimension X is produced by William Welch and directed by Fred Way.
Dragnet, the story of your police force, is next on NBC.
Exciting news for adventure seekers. Join us on a thrilling journey through the vibrant landscapes and diverse culture of Brazil. Lost in Brazil brings you to captivating videos showcasing heart-pounding adventures, mouth-watering cuisine, and hidden gems of this incredible country. From bustling cities to tranquil beaches, our videos capture the essence of Brazil's beauty. Experience the warmth of its people, the rhythm of its music, and the thrill of exploration. Click on the link in the description to find out more.
Adventures in time and space, told in future tense. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction, bring you Dimension X. By the year 1990, we should see many amazing technological advances. And yet, in many ways, life will be very much the same. A husband will stop off at a bar on his way home and perhaps unburden himself a little to a friendly bartender.
Another one, Mr. Smith?
What time is it, Sam?
Why, almost 10 o'clock, Mr. Smith.
One more.
Listen to them. The old songs are still the best, huh, Mr. Smith?
Yes, Sam. I remember singing that one back in 1974. Just before I met my wife. Golden days, Sam.
Here's your beer, Mr. Smith.
Ah, thanks. That's good. Almost feels if I can go home and face Nettie now.
Wife trouble, Mr. Smith?
Wife trouble, Sam.
Fight?
Oh, never. Nettie and I never fight. Nettie's too mad about me ever to fight with me. She adores me. Worships the ground I walk on.
Well, this is something new. I remember only last year you was complaining she was throwing things.
And times have changed. Only wish she was still throwing things. At least in those days I could walk out and slam the door with a clear conscience. Now she's so sweet and loving, I feel like a murderer every time I stop in for a beer on my way home.
Tough, Mr. Smith. Tough.
Ever hear the expression, love will fly if held too lightly? Love will die if held too tightly?
Can't say I ever did.
If only she'd relax a little bit. See this bruise on my lip? She kisses me.
Huh?
For an hour every night when I come home.
Can you do anything for her?
I try. I remind her that she really wanted to marry Harvey Tubman. I remind her how we used to have those battles till the neighbors called the robot police. Nothing works. I'm gone for an hour. She cries.
Well, me, I ain't got that kind of trouble. I hang around too much, and Mabel calls me a loafer and turns me out.
That's a sad state. Can't figure him out. Well, I guess I'll go home and feed myself to the lioness. I tell you, Sam, when Nettie gets finished demonstrating how much she's missed me, I feel like a man who's been stuffed into an electronic washing machine with a dial set at rinse dry. How much do I owe you?
60 cents.
Well, if it isn't Henry Smith.
Brayling. I live and breathe Walter Brayling. What are you doing here?
Oh, having the night out.
Does Gloria know about this?
Things have changed, Henry.
I thought she kept you chained to the bedpost most of the time.
Not anymore, Henry. Not anymore.
Oh, you aren't divorced, are you?
Oh, no. Gloria's home.
What'd you do, put a sleeping powder in her coffee?
Oh, goodness, no, Henry. That would be highly unethical.
I can't believe you just walked out on her.
10 years of marriage, Henry, and I never had a night to myself. But it'll be different from now on.
Oh?
By the way, Henry, what time is it?
10 o'clock.
Well, I guess I better be going.
Scared?
No, don't want to crowd my luck. Although, really, there's nothing to worry about.
I'd sure like to know how you do it, Walter.
Would you really?
Yes.
All right, Henry. Since you've always been a friend of mine, I'll let you in on it. Come on, my car is outside. I'll drive you home and let you see how it's done.
Well, that's nice of you, Walter.
Not at all, Henry. We fellows have to stick together. I don't suppose you know how Gloria and I came to be married in the first place, eh?
No, I don't.
Well, one evening, she threatened to tear off her clothing and call the police unless I married her.
No.
Oh, yes.
Well, that's a bit extreme, isn't it?
Well, Gloria was always a nervous girl.
I bet you've had a pretty wretched time of it.
Oh, yes, it didn't take long for me to become the laughing stock of the neighborhood. Handpecked Brayling, they used to call me. I know, but things are changing now. Here, you see this?
What's that?
A single ticket to Rio on the morning rocket. I have hotel reservations there for a month. A whole month, Henry, to have a fling.
Won't Gloria make trouble over that?
That's the amazing part of it, Henry. She won't even know I'm gone. I'll be back in a month, and no one the wiser. You don't believe me, do you?
Frankly, no. Just how you going to swing it, Walter?
That's the secret, Henry. I tell you, it's the most wonderful thing ever invented. Worth every cent I paid for it.
What is it?
I'm going to show you. Here's my house. Notice the lights are all out. We'll wait up there on the front porch.
Walter, you haven't gone off your rocker, have you?
Now I meow twice.
Meow! Meow!
Now, Henry, watch the window in my bedroom.
Well, it looks as if somebody... Hey, there's a man up there. He's looking out.
Good. He sees me. He'll be down directly.
Isn't it a bit embarrassing for you, Walter?
Oh, not at all. You'll find out. Here he comes. Hello, B2.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Brayling.
Close the door.
Either I'm going out of my mind or there are two of you. You never told me you had a twin brother.
I don't.
But if this fellow weren't in pajamas, I couldn't tell you apart.
That's the secret, Henry. Everything go all right, B2?
Oh, just fine, Mr. Fraley.
I suppose my wife was in her usual good form this evening?
As a matter of fact, we spent the evening playing gin.
No screaming? No shouting accusations?
Oh, no, sir. It was a very quiet evening.
Well, this is even better than I thought.
Well, Marrionettes Incorporated aims to satisfy, sir.
Did he say Marrionettes Incorporated?
That's right, Henry. Look him over. Isn't he excellently fashioned? You wouldn't dream he was a robot, a marionette, eh?
I can't believe it.
It's against the law, of course, to duplicate a human like this, but it's well worth the opportunity.
Well, I still don't believe it. You can't tell him from a human.
Only one way, Henry. Put your ear next to his chest. Listen. That's it.
Machinery. Walter, old man, how long's this been going on?
I've had him a month, Henry. I keep him in the cellar in my toolbox. Now, tonight I told Gloria I'd like to be excused for 5 minutes to run down to the cigar store. She agreed. I went down to the cellar, took out Brayling, too, sent him back upstairs to sit with my wife until I got home.
Miraculous. Of course, it doesn't seem quite ethical somehow.
Oh, nonsense. It's highly ethical. I've been home all evening. I shall be home with her for the next month. In the meantime, another gentleman named Walter Brayling will be in Rio having the time of his life.
Well, can he walk around without fuel for a month?
Oh, he refuels himself. And he's built to do everything. Eat, drink, sleep. You'll take good care of my wife, won't you, B2?
Oh, of course. Your wife is rather nice. I've grown quite fond of her.
You see?
Walter, old man, how long has this Marrionettes Incorporated outfit been in business?
Secretly, for 2 years now. Why?
Well, I wonder, is there a possibility that I might get in touch with them?
You? But you love your Nettie.
Well, I know, but even so, it's a little respite, a night or two once a month.
And she loves you dearly.
So much she can't bear to leave me for half an hour. You know that lately she's taken to calling me up at work 10 or 12 times a day to talk baby talk?
Your Nettie?
My Nettie. What do you say, old man? Favor to an old buddy? Fellow lodge member?
Well, I could put you in touch with the man who makes them. Of course, you'd be pledged to secrecy once you learned where he's located.
Oh, naturally.
Very well, Henry. Here's his card.
Marrionettes Incorporated, W. Zig, proprietor and owner. New humanoid plastic 1990 model, guaranteed against wear. Our motto, no strings attached. Address the Jumble Shop, 43 South Wesley Drive.
And Mr. Zig will take good care of you, Henry. He's a charming fellow, a real craftsman.
Wonderful. I'll see him first thing tomorrow. Well, I'd better be getting home now, though. Nettie's probably splitting a gasket.
See you around, old man, after I get back from Rio. And while I'm gone, you might drop around regularly, just as you always have. Treat Brayling, too, here as if he were me. Otherwise, Gloria might be suspicious.
Oh, I will. And, before I go, these marionettes are safe, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, tell them, B2. We're guaranteed.
Fine. Well, good night, Walter. Good night, B2.
Good night, Mr. Smith.
Good night, Henry. Well, I'm glad someone else will have a chance at a little happiness and freedom. All right, Brayling, too. Back into the cellar box for you. Come on. Down the steps. That's it.
It's very damp down here, Mr. Brayling.
Bad plumbing. Well, here we are.
Brayling.
Yes.
Before you put me back into the toolbox, could we have a word?
Certainly, old man.
This toolbox.
What about it?
Well, I don't like it, Mr. Brayling.
Why not?
It's cramped.
Oh. Well, I'll try to fix up something more comfortable when I get back from Rio. All right, now. Before Gloria gets worried, back
Marionettes are made to move, not to keep still. How would you like to lie in a stuffy old box most of the time?
I didn't realize you fellas were that sensitive.
Well, you wouldn't like it at all. I keep running. There's no way to shut me off. I have my feelings, you know.
Well, day after tomorrow, I'll be off to Rio, and you won't have to stay in the box for a whole month. Or you can move upstairs.
Yes, but when you get back from Rio, I'll go back in the box.
Mr. Zig didn't tell me at Marrionettes Incorporated that it was possible to get a difficult specimen.
There's a lot he doesn't know about us. We're pretty new.
Now, look here, B2. This has gone far enough.
I'll never get to Rio.
Now, come on now. Into the box.
And another thing.
Well...
Your wife.
What about my wife?
Well, I've grown quite fond of her.
Well, I'm glad you enjoy your employment. You'll have the whole month.
I'm afraid you don't quite understand, Brayling. I've fallen in love with her.
You what?
You just don't appreciate her. Maybe if you hadn't always acted so meek and apologetic about everything, she'd have a little more respect for you as a man.
Well, now, you aren't supposed to behave like this. You know you think you...
Well, anyway, I could be very happy if I were married to Gloria.
Aren't you forgetting you're nothing but a big, overgrown puppet?
Careful, Brayling. I'm sensitive.
All right. I'm sorry. Now, look, you wouldn't mind waiting here a moment, would you? I have to go upstairs and make a phone call.
To whom?
Oh, nobody important. I have to call Henry Smith about something.
Yolande, you're going to call Marrionettes Incorporated and tell Mr. Zig to come and get me.
Oh, no, really, I'm not. I was... B2, stay away.
Stand where you are, Brayling.
Now, B2, take your hand off my arm.
No, Brayling.
What are you going to do?
Nothing much. I'm just going to put you in the toolbox, lock it, and lose the key.
What?
And then I'll buy another ticket to Rio, and Gloria and I can have a wonderful vacation.
You're insane.
Am I?
Now, wait a minute. Hold on, B2. Now, don't be rash. Let's talk this over.
Goodbye, Brayling.
B2, stop it. Don't. Let go. Help.
The box, Brayling.
Stop.
There. Yes, Gloria?
What in the world are you doing down there at this time of night?
Oh, nothing, lover. The pipes were knocking. I'm just making sure the boiler hasn't exploded. You go back to bed. I'll be up soon.
Well, hurry, won't you? We had such a nice evening. I'm lonesome for you.
Oh, you won't ever be lonesome again, darling. Never again.
Good morning, Nettie.
Oh, good morning, darling. How are you? Have a nice time last night? I missed you so.
Breakfast ready?
Aren't you going to kiss me good morning?
Oh, yes, I suppose so.
Oh, you're so wonderful, Henry. I guess I'm the luckiest person in the world.
Oh.
Here's your coffee. And how would you like your eggs?
Anyway, it's all.
Oh, but I want to please you.
Oh, Nettie, skip the eggs this morning.
Oh, but you have to eat to keep well, darling.
I'm very healthy. I have an early business appointment.
Oh?
It's a friend of Walter Brayling's. I met Walter last night, and he...
Yes?
I'd better be off. Now, Nettie, don't look as if I were on my way to Rio or something. I'm only going to work.
It's just that I miss you so. I want to be with you all the time.
Do I have to go through this every morning? I'll be back at supper. There's no need to cry now, is there?
No, darling. You aren't displeased with me, are you? I try so hard to do everything just as I think you'll like it.
No, I'm not displeased. Well, goodbye, dear.
Henry?
Yes?
You forgot to kiss me goodbye.
No strings attached, no strings attached. A very nice puppet with no strings attached. Let's see now. The Jumble Shop, 43 South Wesley. That should be about... here it is.
Yes?
Mr. Zig?
Yes?
Walter Brayling recommended me.
Enter. Your name?
Henry Smith, 55 Evergreen Place.
And what can we do for you, Mr. Smith?
Well, Brayling showed me his marionette last night.
I see.
I was intrigued with the idea. Not that my wife is anything like that female meat grinder that he's married to, you understand, but, I'm a man who enjoys an occasional evening with the boys. Without complications.
Naturally.
So I thought...
that I could duplicate you.
Exactly.
I think it might be arranged. You understand the need for secrecy, of course. Although an act is pending in Congress to legalize Marrionettes Incorporated, it is still a felony to use one of my creations.
Well, I understand.
And there is the matter of the payment.
How much?
$9,000.
$9,000?
Well, I have an inferior model at $7,500.
No, if I go through with this, nothing's too good for Nettie. Nettie's my wife. We've been putting money aside to buy a summer house in Westport.
Sometimes we must choose.
Yes. Perhaps I could just slip out $9,000. It's a joint account. How soon can I have it?
I could construct the mannequin in about 2 months' time.
Good.
Shall I consider the order placed?
At once.
Of course, you will have to report here for a body mold, color index of your hair, lips, skin, etc. and I'll have to do a complete electro-emotional calibration.
You guarantee that these models are foolproof?
As foolproof as I can make them, Mr. Smith, and I've had years of training.
No chance of detection?
None whatsoever. I've never had a complaint.
Walter Brayling seems satisfied now.
I assure you, he's been taken care of in high style.
There were some way to be sure.
You have our guarantee.
Very well, Mr. Zig. I'll get the money from the bank and send it to you.
Fine. You'll be just as delighted with yours as Walter Brayling is with his.
Oh, tell her.
Yes, Mr. Smith?
I'd like to cash this draft on my joint account.
Yes, sir. $9,000, sir.
That's right.
Well, I'm afraid that's impossible, Mr. Smith.
Impossible? My wife and I have a good $15,000 in our account.
You're mistaken, Mr. Smith.
Oh, but I know.
Here's your card, sir. You see, Mrs. Smith withdrew $10,000 recently.
$10,000? Without even telling me?
I remember it distinctly, Mr. Smith. She said it was for a surprise for you.
Good Lord. She's bought that house in Connecticut. My birthday's next week. Well, I'll have to borrow it somewhere. I've already contracted.
Yes, sir. Quite a surprise for you, eh, Mr. Smith?
Yes? Oh, hello, Henry.
Hello, Gloria. Is Walter home? I'd like to speak to him.
Well, come in.
Thank you.
Is something wrong?
Well, just some private business. Matter of a loan.
Well, he went down to the travel bureau, but he should be back soon. We're going to Rio, you know.
Both of you?
Isn't it wonderful? I don't know what's come over Walter lately. He's been so romantic. Last night he came upstairs and said, darling, he hasn't called me darling in years. Darling, we're going to take a honeymoon to Rio. So we're leaving tomorrow. Anything wrong, Henry?
No. No, I'm just a little surprised, that's all.
Well, he should be back soon. Will you wait?
Yes, I'd better.
Say, as long as you're over here, maybe you can help me with something.
What?
Well, I went downstairs to get an old suitcase a little while ago, and I heard the strangest noises near that old tool chest of Walter's. He mentioned that the boiler was acting up, and I'm afraid to go down there again. I wonder if you'd take a look.
What kind of noises?
Like a thumping sound.
Maybe I'd better go down, Gloria. You stay up here.
Should I call a plumber, do you think?
No, I'll take care of it.
Right down a bed.
I'll have a look. Good Lord. Hello in there. Well, just a minute. Keep quiet, for goodness sake. I'll have to smash the lock. Now, what in the...
Henry, thank God you've come.
Be quiet.
I've been in there all night. I thought I'd suffocate. He tried to kill me, Henry. He tried to murder me.
Who? Which one are you?
Don't be an idiot. I'm Walter.
What happened?
B2, the Marrionette. He stuffed me in the toolbox and left me to suffocate. Well, fortunately, I found an old file in there and managed to get an air hole through the wood.
Good Lord. He's taking Gloria with him to Rio.
Have they left yet?
No, he's gone downtown for the tickets.
Oh, good. We may just have time.
For what?
To get down to Marrionettes Incorporated and tell Zig to stop him.
Well, you're in no condition.
Oh, don't worry about me. We can't waste any time. Come on.
But Gloria...
I'll sneak out. Tell her you fixed the plumbing. Tell her anything. I'll meet you outside.
All right.
Oh, what a fool I've been.
What a fool I almost was. I went down and ordered one of those things today. Gloria, love.
Yes, darling. Did you get the tickets to Rio?
Right here in my wallet. Honeymoon for two under the pampas moon.
Oh, Walter, it's so nice to have you like this.
You like the change?
I don't know what did it, but whatever it is, I'm in favor of it. I hope it's permanent.
Oh, I intend to see that it is. Oh, by the way, darling, do you happen to remember where that old pistol of mine is?
Pistol?
Yes, I just thought since we're going to be traveling in strange countries, it wouldn't hurt to bring it along.
Oh. Well, I think it's here in the sideboard. Yes, there. Oh, Walter, you know how frightened I am of those things.
Oh, I'll be very careful of it. In fact, I think I'll go down the basement and practice. Not really shooting it, of course, just to make sure it's in good working order.
Do be careful, darling.
Oh, I will. If you should hear a shot, dear, don't be frightened. I may fire it into a block of wood just to test it. Perhaps I'll fire into that old tool chest of mine. Yeah, that should absorb it.
Oh, speaking of that tool chest...
Yes, what about it?
It reminds me that Henry Smith was here.
Oh?
Yeah, I heard some noises downstairs, dear, and he went down to fix the plumbing.
Is he still down there?
No, he left. I really don't understand it. He seemed so anxious to see you before he went down to the cellar, and then he just left.
Oh. Did he, stop the noises?
Well, he must have. I don't hear them.
I see.
What is it, dear?
I have to go out for a while,
But,
darling.
Walter, we'll have to pack if we're leaving.
I'll be back soon. There's something very important I have to attend to.
Well, what is
Oh,
it?
just some personal business with Henry Smith. Please excuse me, darling, and don't worry. When I get back, everything will be fixed once and for all. Yes, we can enjoy the rest of our lives just as though the old Walter Brayling never existed.
Ah, Mr. Brayling and Mr. Smith.
Yes, Mr. Zig.
Come in, gentlemen.
We certainly will come in.
What brings you?
A good deal, Mr. Zig. Yes, indeed, a good deal.
If I might know exactly, you seem so upset.
Tell him, Henry. You told me your marionettes were foolproof, Mr. Zig.
They are. My personal guarantee goes with each one
We
of
know
them.
all about your personal guarantee. Except that Mr. Brayling's dummy knocked him out, stuffed him in a toolbox to suffocate, and is making plans to run away with his wife.
Oh, dear.
Well, Mr. Zig?
Oh, I really don't know what to say, gentlemen. You see, I work alone. I make these marionettes myself so that I can see to it personally that there are no errors. However, even the finest craftsman can make a mistake once in a while.
What Mr. Brayling and I would like to know, Mr. Zig, is exactly what are you planning to do to stop this over-ambitious robot?
Well, of course, we shall have to recover B2 first, and then I will simply dismantle him.
He doesn't seem to want to be dismantled, Mr. Zig. In fact, I think you'll have trouble catching him.
Maybe I can save you the trouble, gentlemen.
B2, look out. He has a gun.
I thought I'd find you here when I discovered the tool chest empty.
Now, look, B2, whatever you're planning to do, you won't get away with it.
I think I will.
Mr. Zig, can't you do something?
I'm afraid I can't think of anything.
I'll save you the trouble, because I'm going to kill the three of you.
Oh, you won't get away with it.
No? You forget that Gloria and I will be on a plane to Rio in a few hours. All right, Mr. Zig. You first.
Oh, now, see here. This isn't fair. I created you. You can't do...
Grab him. I've got him. Quick, that hammer. Well, that's the end of Brayling, too.
Oh, thank heaven. Henry, he got Zig right through the...
Oh, holy jumping catfish.
Henry, look at him. Look at Zig.
Nothing but a mass of coils and springs, just like Brayling, too.
Well, he's nothing but a marionette.
He's no different from... Walter, you know what this means?
It's incredible.
A marionette building other marionettes.
But someone must have built Mr. Zig originally.
Well, perhaps Mr. Zig turned on whoever built him the same way that Brayling, too, turned on you.
Well, at any rate, we'll never know.
I wonder how many of these things are walking around among us.
Oh, I shudder to think of it.
Some of our best friends might be... Come on, we got to get out of here.
But the police?
Don't be a fool. There's been no crime committed here. All the police will find is two oversized puppets with the springs coming out of them.
But they seem so lifelike.
They're only machinery. You've got to remember that.
Well, what'll I tell Gloria?
If I were you, Brayling, I wouldn't tell Gloria a thing. I'd simply pick up that other ticket to Rio and take her on a honeymoon.
What about you, Henry? What are you going to do?
Me? I'm going home and give Nettie a kiss that'll singe her hair. I'll even forgive her for taking that $10,000 out of the bank without telling me. You know, when I think of what might have happened if I'd gone through with this marionette thing, what makes a fellow realize how lucky he is to be married to a decent woman. Let's go. Nettie! Where are you, sweetheart?
In here, darling.
I've missed you today. Come here.
Oh, Henry. Oh, you look tired, darling. Can I do something for you? Just tell me. I'm yours to command.
Ah, a man's a fool to jeopardize a nice home and a loving wife like you. You do love me, don't you, Nettie?
You know I do. Here, let me get your slippers on.
Ah, feels good to sit back on the sofa and relax. You don't know what a trying day I've had.
I can see you're all upset. It isn't anything I've done, is it, dearest?
Well, in a way, something you've done is connected with it.
What's that, darling?
The money.
Money?
I know you want to surprise me with the house, darling, but Really, you shouldn't have taken that money out of the bank without consulting me.
Henry, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Now, Nettie.
But I don't.
Nettie.
Oh, you're so upset, darling. If it's anything important, let's talk about it later. Meanwhile, why don't you just put your head on my shoulder and rest?
I must admit that sounds enticing.
Here. Let me make you comfortable. There. Now you just close your eyes. That's it.
Nettie.
Yes, darling.
You hear something?
No, darling.
You sure?
Like what?
Well, like the ticking of a clock.
No.
Well, strange, I don't hear it now, but when I had my ear against your chest... Oh, no. Oh, no.
What are you talking about,
No, I
darling?
won't believe it. You are my Nettie, aren't you? You're a real live flesh and blood... Oh, she couldn't have done that to me. Not Nettie. But I hear it. And it's coming from you. It's coming from you.
You have just heard another adventure into the unknown world of the future. The world of...
Dimension X.
Next week, Dimension X moves to a new day and time. It will originate in New York on Saturdays from 8 to 8:30 p.m., beginning September 8th. Consult your local newspaper for the exact day and time in your locality. And don't miss Mary Leinster's story of deep space, First Contact.
Dimension X is presented each week by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of the magazine Astounding Science Fiction. Today, Dimension X has presented Marrionettes, Incorporated, written for radio by George Lefferts, from the story by Ray Bradbury. Featured in the cast were Kermit Murdoch as Henry, Martin Rudy as Brayling, and Ross Martin as Brayling, too. Your host was Norman Rose. Music by Albert Berman. Fred Collins speaking. Dimension X is produced by William Welch and directed by Fred Way.
Dragnet, the story of your police force, is next on NBC.
Adventures in Time and Space, transcribed in future tense. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction, bring you Dimension X.
Tonight's story, First Contact, by Murray Leinster. They had been in space 6 months now, moving with the incredibly faster-than-light speed of the overdrive. In 6 months, they had gone from Earth outward and outward to the crab-like nebula with the twin stars. A routine flight of exploration and scientific research.
Solid object about 90,000 miles away, sir.
Located, Dort. Exactly identified.
A small object, sir. Captain, I've never seen anything like this before. Whatever it is out there is coming toward us at an incredible speed and retreating to zero just as rapidly.
What's the mass of the object, Dort?
Well, it varies with the distance from us, sir.
Step up the scanners.
Nothing, sir. Absolutely nothing shows out there. And yet there must be something. Those alarms are foolproof.
Action stations, man all weapons. Condition of extreme alert in all departments immediately.
Captain, what is it?
Dort, I ran into the same thing once before on the Earth-Mars run. We were being located by another ship, and their locator beam was the same frequency as ours. Every time it hit, it registered as something solid and monstrous.
But, Captain, we're the only Earth ship in 18 light years around. How?
I didn't say it was another Earth ship out there, Dort.
Another race?
That's right. There's a spaceship out there, all right. But it's not manned by human beings.
It had been contemplated and speculated upon. Mathematically, it was almost a certainty that such a race existed. But in 18,000 Earth years, no human spaceship had ever encountered them. Now the situation was precipitated, and somewhere outside the Earth vessel, there was an alien race. Of what shape? Of what quality? Of what psychology?
It's moving, sir. Heading right for us.
At that speed, we'll be in touch in 10 minutes. Heading right for us, huh? Just what we'd do if a strange ship appeared in our hunting grounds. Friendly? Well, maybe. We'll try to contact them. We have to do that. But friendly? Thank the Lord for the blasters.
They may not be hostile, sir.
They may be. That's what I'm paid for. Put on this job for, to worry about the troubles that may never happen. To all hands, now hear this. A ship is approaching manned by an alien race. I'll give the signal for attack or defense if it be necessary. There'll be no move made unless I give the order. I do not wish to provoke trouble. Stand by.
Their ship is slowing down, sir. It's stopped.
Weapons Department, report. Weapons Department, report.
Alien ship remarked. Target fixed. Weapons alert.
Communications Department, report. Communications Department, report.
We're receiving a modulated short wave, sir. Frequency modulated. Apparently a signal. Not enough power to do us any harm.
We'll try to make some sense out of it. Report any progress to me immediately.
One thing in their favor, sir. They didn't attack immediately without question. They're trying to establish contact. That seems to indicate they're reasonable.
We'll see. What are they doing now? Can you make out the locator screen? Bring that power up.
They're doing something now, sir. There's a section of the hull opening. Probably an airlock, sir.
If they breathe there.
And they're letting something out. Oh, it's round. A bomb, sir?
Unknown object released from alien ship. Observed by Weapons Department and targeted.
Stand by.
See what they're doing, sir? They've let the object out there right where they were. And now they're withdrawing the ship.
There's no reason why that object couldn't be a bomb, Mr. Dort. Intended to let us think precisely as you're thinking right now.
I just have a hunch, sir. I think they're friendly. I think whatever it is out there is a means of communication.
You're probably right, but I won't gamble the ship on a probability.
Sir, I'd like to volunteer to go out there and look that thing over.
You understand whoever does examine it is expendable.
Yes, sir.
Requisition a lifeboat.
If it's all right with you, sir, I'd prefer just a suit with the drive in it. It's smaller and the arms and legs won't make me look like a bomb. And I'll carry a scanner, sir.
You may leave when you're ready.
Thank you, sir.
I'm all ready. Clear the lock and let me out. Weapons Department reporting to the captain. Mr. Dort located. Mr. Dort is targeted.
Stand by. That object out there is a device to capture one of our people for observation and questioning. It'll be blown out of existence, including Mr. Dort. Stand by. Mr. Dort. Mr. Dort. Report.
Object, as you can see on the scanner, sir, is covered with many small horns, like the detonating horns of the obsolete mines formerly used in naval warfare.
Is that their purpose, do you assume, Mr. Dort?
I'm going to find out, sir. I'm going to grab one.
Mr. Dort.
I'm here, sir. I don't think this is a mine.
Circle it so we can see it completely through your scanner.
Deadlock, sir. Nothing to report that the scanner hasn't shown you. Oh, wait a minute, sir. A section of the outer hull seems to be opening. Do you see it?
Very good, Dort.
Hold that.
I'm sure it's a communications device, sir.
It looks like it. Fix your scanner so it'll focus on that communications device. Return to the ship.
Communications department. Progress report, please. We've established communication, sir.
Is there a psychologist on the team down there with you?
Yes, sir. Mr. Burns is working with us.
Will both of you please report to the bridge at once? Oh, you look tired, Dort.
We've established fairly satisfactory communication, sir. They seem to have highly developed thought patterns. We got a satisfactory translation from the machine on the 4th attempt. We can say almost anything we want to say to each other now. Of course, how much of what they tell us is the truth, we have no way of knowing.
Mr. Burns, you're the psychologist. What do you think?
Well, I don't know, sir. They seem to be completely direct. They haven't let slip even a hint of the tenseness we know exists. They act as if they were setting up a means of communication for friendly conversation, but, well, there's an overtone that...
Yeah? Well, Mr. Burns, I have a decision to make. On the one hand, opening contact with the friendly people of a vastly different culture could only be beneficial to us of Earth. On the other hand, if they're hostile, I ought to blast them out of existence without any other preliminaries.
Oh, but, sir, you can't...
I'm not talking to you, Dort.
It's not warranted yet, sir.
Yes. Now, hear this, all departments. Hear this, all departments. This ship is on an extended alert. Provisions will be made so that personnel can have maximum rest and nourishment.
Communication continued by means of the artificial language set up arbitrarily between the Earthmen and the aliens, decoded by the mechanical decoders. Dort disobeyed orders. He lived on powerful stimulants so that he could stay with the communications machine. Talking to the aliens.
Other people. Are we being received?
We are receiving your message.
The chief of this ship wishes to speak with the chief of your ship.
The message is heard by the chief of this ship. The chief of this ship communicates that he will hear the message of the chief of that ship.
Go ahead, sir.
People of the other ship, I'd like to say the appropriate things about this first contact of two dissimilar civilized races, and of my hopes that a friendly intercourse between the two peoples will result.
People of that ship, what you say is all very well, but is there any way for us to let each other go home alive?
That's all, sir. They stopped sending.
Very direct people. Very direct.
But, sir, I don't follow. I didn't know what that meant. You know, is there any way for us to let each other go home alive?
It means what it says, Dort.
Sir, what's to stop us from just cutting communication and leaving, and they can do likewise?
What's to stop us? Simply that whichever ship leaves first will be followed by the other. If they find Earth and get back to their own planet and we don't know where that planet is, Earth will be completely at their mercy. If they leave first, we'll follow them. We'll attempt to find their home planet. Dort, could you swear to any decision that the policymakers on Earth will come to?
Sir, even if they do follow us, the closer we get to home, the more of our ships and weapons they'll face. They'd never get away.
Well, how do you know that they can't communicate with their home planet without returning?
We can't, sir.
How do you know they can't?
I don't, sir.
Well, so that's the situation. We'll sit out here, facing each other, trying to outguess each other, until time wears us out. And we'll have to face the fact. Either they destroy us or we destroy them. Navigation officer, attention. Navigation officer, attention. Every star map on this ship is to be prepared for instant destruction.
The chief of this ship wishes to know whether the chief of that ship can suggest an answer to the problem concerning us both.
Do you want me to answer that, sir?
I'll answer it myself. Tell me when to talk.
Now, sir.
I am giving that matter personal attention. Every effort will be bent to the solution of this problem. Will you consider a temporary truce in the meantime?
What would a truce gain? Could we trust you? Would you trust us? I suggest that we continue as we have up to this particle of time.
I agree. Sign off, George.
Weeks went by, and during the weeks, the exchange of information continued without let-up.
What particle of time are the people on that ship at?
The resting time. All rest except myself and others on alert duty.
Same on this ship.
You people of that ship are very similar in many ways. Do you have a family?
I have a mate.
I have a mate and 3 offspring. It is too bad for them as well as us to have to kill each other.
This ship can't see any way out of it. Can that ship?
If we could believe each ship, yes. Our chief would like it. But we can't believe you, and you are afraid that we do not tell the truth, although we do. This ship would trail you home if this ship were able to. That ship would do the same. But this ship feels sorry about it.
I believe you're a friend.
I share your belief and like you. But there is a possibility that you were put to make a trap for me. I will stop now and think it over.
Just sit down, Dort. Control yourself. We're all under tension. Doesn't do any good to pace like some caged animal.
Yes, sir.
All right, now, I've read the complete transcription of your conversations with this one alien. What does it prove, Dort?
Sir, these people are so much like us in their thinking. Well, sir, they're likable.
They're likable and they breathe oxygen. Their air is 28% oxygen instead of 20. They could do very well on Earth. It'd be a highly desirable conquest for them. Dort, I'm as set against violence as you are. I don't see any way out of this. And I think we've got to break this status quo. So if in 70 hours we don't see any other way, then I have no further choice. I'll blow them to bits.
Will that ship receive communications? Will that ship receive communications?
This ship is listening.
It seems to me better to communicate than to sit by the machine silently.
I would have called you, but you signed off before.
The problem goes around and around. I find no answer.
Perhaps we could turn our thoughts to other things.
The psychologist of this ship tells us that you people on that ship have a threshold of tolerance to tension. He tells us that you will be forced to take one action or another in a period of less than 100 time particles.
I have no communication on this matter.
But the ship is not trying to extract unwilling information from that ship. A truth is mentioned in passing.
A report of this conversation will be carried to the chief of this ship.
It will be so. We are prepared.
If only the people of this ship could meet in direct contact with the people of that ship, it might be better.
We could not communicate then. The communications machine is too large to carry from place to place. In direct contact, the peoples of the two ships would be further apart than now.
That's true.
I am sad. Much that is pleasant has passed between us.
I am sad, too.
We are not yet ready for each other.
We are not yet ready for each other.
It's hard, isn't it, Dort?
Well, Captain, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were here, sir.
I've been here for quite a while. Eavesdropping, I'm afraid.
It's all right, sir. Nothing can be personal in a situation like this.
Yeah, that's right. How long is 100 time particles, Dort?
Pardon, sir?
That reference he made to us not being able to stand tension is interesting. Their psychologists seem to make more out of us than we do out of them, don't they?
Yes, sir. They hit the nail right on the head.
Yes, they do. I think, Dort, we'll just have to push our timetable up a bit. No further communication with the aliens under any circumstances. That's clear, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Sir, if they know so much about our psychology, isn't it possible that remark was intended to make us act more quickly?
Probable, Dort. Probable.
Well, why would they do that, sir? Why?
You tell me why, Dort.
All of a sudden, I have an idea, sir. That's crazy.
It doesn't matter how crazy. I'll listen to it.
Sir, I think these people are playing some kind of a joke on us.
Joke? A joke, Dort?
Yes, sir. Over and over again, I've noticed what I think is a sense of humor. A highly developed sense of humor. Do you recall when we went to all the trouble to set up a fictitious star map and then they just sent us back a mirror image of the same one? I think somehow they're playing a joke on us.
Well, maybe you're right. In which case, you've seen practical jokers, Dort. Their jokes aren't always funny. Sometimes they hurt people. All departments, man, instant alert. All departments, man, instant alert. Report instantly. Report instantly.
Weapons Department alerted.
Target the enemy ship.
On target, sir.
Stand by. Fire!
They're gone, sir. Not a trace of them left. Not a tiny trace. Now we can go home.
Communications to Captain. Communications to Captain.
Report.
Sir, I'm picking up new signals. Same frequency as the original alien signal.
That's impossible. That ship was destroyed.
I'm receiving signals, sir.
Set the machine up. We'll be down there in a minute. Mr. Dort, come with me, please.
It's good to be on the way home.
Yes, it is good.
Do you suppose we'll ever figure out what happened to the other ship?
Never. A blinding flash and they were gone.
I suppose they couldn't figure a way out of the situation. An unstable people. They had no sense of humor to cope with the situation. They exploded themselves out of existence.
It seems reasonable.
They must have had powerful weapons to destroy themselves so completely.
Yes, what a shame.
In a way, I grew to like them.
This isn't meant for us, sir. I don't know what's happening, but I think we're overhearing a private conversation.
I understand, Dora. Be quiet, will you?
Many things might have come out of a relationship with that people.
They were describing a disease they call cancer. I think it is similar to the Fulgren syndrome. We might have helped them.
They might have helped us, too. Well, too bad. We'll never find them again, I think. The odds of such a chance meeting in the vast space of the whole universe. There are no figures for such odds, are there?
Turn it up, Dort. Turn it up louder.
That's all there is, sir. The signal stopped there. Sir, I don't know how, but somehow when we fired at them, we didn't destroy them, but we did set up a condition whereby they've become invisible to us and we've become invisible to them.
Captain to Engineering Department. Halt forward motion.
Captain, why are we stopping?
Listen, Dort, you say they're invisible. All right, they are. But they're not destroyed because we just heard them. They're out there somewhere. Invisible.
Well, you heard them, sir. They're heading for home. We're invisible to them, too, sir.
How do you know, Dort? How do you know this whole thing isn't a setup?
Well, suppose that's true, Captain. You heard their conversation. They weren't talking like any monstrous people. They seemed decent and warm, just as decent and warm as we are.
How do you know this conversation wasn't planned, deliberately set up for us to hear? How do you know that, Dort?
Yes, sir, you're right. They may be out there and they may not. They may be telling the truth or they may be trying to trick us. They may be friends or they may be the most deadly enemies.
You said they had a sense of humor, Dort. What a joke to play. To deliberately set up a situation where we wouldn't know fact from fantasy, truth from lie. Wouldn't that be a joke, Dort?
Yeah, but we don't know that they did that, sir.
And we don't know that they didn't. We don't know anything.
Sir, does that mean we never go home again?
I don't know. I have to think about it. I have to think about it.
You have just heard another adventure into the unknown world of the future. The world of...
Dimension X.
Dimension X is presented each week by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of the magazine Astounding Science Fiction. Your host was Norman Rose, music by Albert Berman. Dimension X is produced by William Welch and directed by Fred Way.
First Contact, written by Murray Leinster and adapted for radio by Howard Rodman. Featured in the cast were Wendell Holmes, Bob Hastings, Clark Gordon, William Malley, and Stan Early. Your announcer, Fred Collins.
Adventures in Time and Space, transcribed in future tense. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction, bring you Dimension X. The rocket drove through space like a silver fish in an endless tank, the stars in black velocity swirling by. Inside her case, tiny, finite specks of humanity controlled the tremendous power that impelled her so relentlessly toward the other galaxies. Who were these men? What mad, fantastic need and desire had caused them to abandon Mother Earth and venture to the ends of the universe?
Captain Hollis.
What is it, Stone?
Magnetic storm, dead ahead, sir.
And the aperture?
About 100-mile gap between elements, sir, but shifting rapidly.
Switch on the radar screen. Let's have a look.
Yes, sir. There are asteroids in it, Captain.
I see that. Thank you, Stone.
Sir?
What?
Any change in course?
What for?
The storm, sir.
If I decide to change course, I'll issue the order.
At the rate we're approaching, it'll be too late to issue an order.
Mr. Stone, do I need to remind you who's master of this ship?
Look, sir, there are 25 other lives to be considered besides your own. Those asteroids shipped at our course.
That's enough, Stone.
It's not enough, Captain.
Return to your post.
Captain, for God's sake, don't be pig-headed about this. There's a magnetic storm dead ahead. Are you going to risk the lives of all of us just so you can hang your hat on some lousy interplanetary record? We know this means a lot to you. Sure, you can be fleet admiral if you beat those Asiatic ships to Venus. That's fine, but we value our lives.
I happen to value my life just as much as any man aboard this craft, Mr. Stone. But I wasn't brought up to be a lily-livered dare-nothing. Now get back to your post, or I'll have you court-martialed. Well, Mr. Stone?
Okay.
Okay what, Mr. Stone?
Okay, sir.
Impudent young pig.
Maybe he's right, Lewis.
Well, you stick to being ship's doctor. You're good at that. I'll navigate this fish.
You're the captain. Only I'd hate to pile up on some little asteroid, especially when a simple thing like changing course.
Simple thing? Do you know what a change in course would mean? The slightest deflection would throw us 1,000,000 miles off at this speed. It'd take days to get back on the vector. By that time, one of the Asiatic ships would have landed on Venus and claimed the whole blasted planet. We're in a race, Charles.
Well, suppose they did claim Venus. There's nothing but rocks and jungle anyway.
It isn't that. It's the idea of someone beating us.
You know, Lewis, I always get a little bit jittery when men are willing to die for symbols.
You're a cynic.
Maybe.
Get Mollis. Get Mollis.
Alice, what is it, Lester?
Captain, the radar tracking shows a foreign object dead ahead.
What?
Check your screen, sir.
Good Lord, the whole blasted storm has shifted dead on. Engine room.
Mission chamber.
Fire up your starboard cyclotron.
Aye, sir.
You can't make it in time, Lewis. Listen to that radar bounce.
Shut up. Now hear this. Now hear this. Condition red. Fasten your spacesuits.
Forward cyclotron at capacity.
Open the fission chamber. Emergency blast.
Aye, sir.
It's it off.
You think we'll make it?
We've got to make it.
Suppose one of those asteroids decides to shift.
Will you shut up?
It doesn't sound good, Lewis.
Another 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2.
Lewis, the meteorite.
Good God!
Look out!
Hello? Hello, anyone? Can you hear me? I can see you floating out there. Can you hear me? For God's sake, answer if you can. I don't want to just float out here alone.
Stone, is that you?
Who is it?
Captain Hollis.
What happened?
We struck an asteroid. Ship blew up.
Is anybody else alive?
I don't know. I can see some spacesuits floating in space not far from me, but I don't know if they're alive.
Maybe they just don't hear us.
Their radios are working, they do.
Hello? Hello, somebody?
Doc, is that you?
Lewis?
Yes,
Thank God. Anybody else alive?
Stone.
Hello, Doctor. Oh. Are you all right? Okay so far.
That's 3 of us, anyway.
Lewis,
Yes?
we seem to be moving away from each other. That's right. I can hardly see you now.
It's the momentum. We were all thrown in different directions. Since there's no friction, we'll pick up speed.
Isn't there some way we could stick together at least?
I'm afraid not.
If there's no friction, then there's nothing to stop us.
That's right, Stone.
But then we'll just keep falling. Maybe forever.
Not forever. You'll fall until you get into one of the gravitational fields of some planet. After that, you'll fall toward the planet.
Mother in heaven, what a way to die.
Nobody's going to die. Those Asiatic ships will be along this way. We can radio to them when they get in range.
Aren't you forgetting something, Lewis?
What's that?
The commanders of those other ships may not be quite so willing to run through a magnetic storm. They may have altered course. If they have, they won't come within 1,000,000 miles of us.
We'll have to take our chances on that.
It's a long way down. A long, long way down.
Let's have no talk of that kind, Stone.
I don't want to die.
Stone, I said can it.
Can it yourself.
What?
You heard me. This is a mutiny of one. Don't try to put your rank on me now, mister. You'll be 10,000 miles away in another hour.
So help me, I'll have you court-martialed when we're picked up.
Let's not kid ourselves. Nobody's going to be picked up. I've got a few things to get off my chest before we lose contact with each other. Don't let it drop.
Let him talk.
Thanks. Your ship was a bad ship, and you were a bad captain. I hope you break when you hit the moon.
Thanks for the goodwill, Stone.
That isn't all. I believe there are different kinds of deaths, Captain. Just as there are different kinds of lives. Yours should be pretty interesting because you've been dead for years. Stone!
Let him.
When was the last time you had an honest human feeling, Captain? I'll bet you don't even remember when. I don't think you're capable of any kind of strong feeling. Do you have a wife, Captain? I'll bet she won't miss you one bit. Children?
I have a son, little boy.
Maybe he'll grow up to be a hero like his daddy. A tin hero with a piece of stone where other men have hearts.
Are you quite finished?
I've said it. Well, so long, Doc. So long. I'm headed for the sun. Somehow I don't like the idea of falling into the sun. I'm going to take a quicker way out. No, Stone, don't be a fool. I'm going to smash the faceplate on my helmet and let the oxygen escape.
Stone, don't do it. We're going to be rescued. Stone.
See you all in some other universe? God have mercy.
He was headed for the sun. I can barely see him now.
Looks like Mercury for me. How about you, Lewis?
I'm headed for Earth. Funny, isn't it? That I should be going back to Mother Earth this way. I'm nothing but a human meteor, Charles. When I hit the Earth's atmosphere, I'll burn like a match. Charles. Charles, can you still hear me?
I can hear you. It's getting fainter now. We must be several thousand miles apart.
We should be able to talk for another 20 minutes or so at the speed we're falling away from each other.
What are you thinking about, Louis?
I was thinking about Stone. What he said.
Don't let it get you.
You know, in a way, he was right.
He was insane. The shock knocked him off balance.
No. Each of us dies in a different way. Each of us has his own life to look back on. Huh?
What's that?
I don't know. It sounds like Lester.
Hello? Hello, Lester. Can you hear us?
I don't think so. It's possible that the sending unit of his radio is working, but the receiving unit is damaged.
Singing good stuff to keep up his nerves.
Right there. Hello? Hello? Anybody alive? This is engineer's mate Harry Lester. Hello? Mother of heaven, ain't there somebody that talks to me at least?
Lester, can you hear us?
No. Listen, anybody. If you can hear me, this is engineer's mate Harry Lester. We had an accident. We were... Oh, what's the use?
He doesn't even know we can hear him.
Poor devil may have forgotten to switch on his receiving unit.
Well, there are three of us again anyway.
It isn't much comfort. Maybe Stone's way is best.
Don't be a fool. We're going to be picked up.
I doubt
We
it.
must. I must. I've too much to accomplish in life to die like this. A fellow like Stone or Lester, they come a dime a dozen. But I was in line to be commander of the whole fleet. You know what that means, Charles? Commander of the hemisphere.
No, I don't know what it means. I never wanted to be commander of anything but myself. And I never even came close to that.
Helen was counting on it. Stevie, too, in his own little way.
It's hardest for Helen. Steely's too young to understand.
He'll know. He'll know his daddy went out with a ship. Like a man. They'll give him a medal.
Louis, I'm beginning to think that maybe Stone was right about you.
Huh? What do you mean?
Oh, nothing.
No, Charles. I want to know. We've shipped together a good many years. You never told me what you really think of me, whether or not you've envied my success. I'd like to know now. We've nothing to do but talk anyway.
I have never envied anything except the fact that you're falling back to earth, Louis. I've admired you as I admire some sort of perfect machine. But that's where it stopped. You know the trouble with you, Louis?
Well?
You can't cry.
What? men don't cry, only children.
That's what I mean, Louis. You can't cry.
I don't know what the devil you're babbling about.
Well, skip it.
Now, look here. There's one thing.
I had a wife on Mars. I had a wife on Jupiter. And I had a wife on Venus. Everyone of them had money and treated me swell.
What's he babbling about?
I don't know. He seems to be reminiscing about his life.
I had some nice times, I did. Oh, Roxy. She didn't know about any of them others. Roxy. Married 15 years, and she still looks like a schoolgirl. And there's a boy, too. I wonder what he's doing now. Like he's not in some mischief. I remember when I kissed him goodbye. I said to him, I says, now, my son, take good care of your mom and don't get fresh with the girls. He'd slap me if he didn't wink at me and smile, that winning smile of his, and say, all right, Dad, take care, you come back well. All in all, we miss you terrible much. Oh, well, Eddie, Lister, you can't complain. You've had the best of it and some to spare.
Simple soul.
Too simple.
I envy him.
Why?
Because he has all that to hang on to. Women always frightened me. I ran from them. Always wanting them and jealous of men like Lester for having them. And jealous of him for being able to spend money without fear and for as much happiness as he could have in his own wild way. Haven't you ever wanted that?
Don't be a fool.
The difference between us and Lester is that he lives in the present. He gets into the experience of the moment. You and I, Louis, we live in the past and in the future, but never in the present.
Could we change the subject?
I thought you wanted to talk.
Well, let's talk about something else. Charles? Charles? Charles, are you there? Charles, answer me.
I just switched my auxiliary battery. I'm sorry.
Well, don't do that.
Afraid to be alone?
I've never been afraid of anything in my life, and you know it.
I wonder.
It's a long way back down.
Why doesn't he shut up?
Louis.
What?
Louis, I got myself into a meteor swarm. Some little asteroid.
Meteors?
I think it's that Myrmidon cluster that goes out past Mars and then swings in towards Earth once every 5 years. I'm right in the middle of it now. It's like a big kaleidoscope. All kinds of colors and shapes and sizes. God, it's beautiful, all that metal. I'm going with them. They're taking me with them. Well, I'll be doggone. Remember when you were a kid, Louis? Held a kaleidoscope to your eye, gave it a twirl? That's what I'm part of now.
Keep talking. I can barely hear you now.
They're taking me off, Louis. Hold on.
Charles! Charles, don't leave me alone like this. Charles! Charles! Lester! Lester, can you hear me?
Oh, it's a good time. I got drunk once and gambled away $1,000.
Why don't you shut up?
Then there was the time Roxy and I made love on the sand down at Old Gate Bridge.
It's all over, Lester. It's just as if it never happened.
And Annie, you've no regrets, really.
What good does it do you, you fool? When the thing's over, it's not good anymore. You're no better off than me. Look at what I've accomplished.
Roxy.
You floating there, languishing over some skinny, misbegotten slut of a wife.
Roxy.
My wife is beautiful. Understand? Beautiful. Like marble.
Well,
like chiseled marble.
You'll find herself another man. She'll have some more good times.
No, she won't. She'll be faithful to my memory. Helen, you will be faithful, won't you? You'll never forget me.
It's a long way.
I won't listen. I'll switch off my radio. There, that's better. You're alone now, Captain Hollis. Alone with yourself and your thoughts and your memories. Going back to Earth like a human rocket and remembering.
Louis, is that you?
Yes, Helen, it's me.
I missed you.
Have you?
Didn't you know?
But I thought... we quarreled.
Oh, I've forgotten about that.
I had some trouble, Helen.
We won't talk about it. You're home now. That's the important thing. Stevie is so excited.
Stevie, where is he?
Right here, darling. Stevie? Steve? Daddy! Daddy!
Hello, son.
You're going to stay with us this time, aren't you, Daddy? You're going to stay home and we'll go fishing and play ball together, just like you promised.
Well, Stevie...
I'm collecting seashells, Dad. I've got a whole collection of all different colors. Would you like to see them?
Yes, I would, son.
I'll go up and get them. I've got them in my room. Don't go away, Dad. I'll be right back.
I won't go away. He's, quite a little guy, isn't he?
I'm glad you're finally getting together with him.
What? What do you mean, Helen?
You've always seemed so, well, detached from him. Steve is a sensitive little creature. All he ever wanted from you really was just a little affection and respect, Louis. Just a little respect for the things he felt and wanted.
I've been a good father. Nobody can ever say I haven't been a good father. Certainly not you, not after what happened.
Don't get defensive, Louis, please. I'm trying to bring us a little closer together.
I've given him everything a boy should have. Toys, boxing gloves. I've taught him to hunt and take care of himself.
Yes, you've done all those things.
Well, then.
It's just, well, sometimes when he's come to you, he feels so alone. All he wants is for you to put your arms around him and reassure him, that's all.
He's going to be a man. I don't want him to be soft.
What is it, Louis? What is there about being soft that you despise?
Sissy's a soft.
Christ was soft.
Now, don't start that business again, will you?
I'm trying to make you understand, please.
I understand what you're trying to do. You're like all of them. They want to make you a woman. Like them. They want to drain you of your manhood so they can control you, manipulate you.
You won't understand, will you? You won't trust me or anybody else, including yourself.
Now you're talking belly wash again.
Oh, let's not build that wall between us, Louis. Not this time. I have it all planned when you came back. We'd go down to the beach. Remember the spot where we used to swim? In the moonlight, you can see the water all luminous and green. And then we could have a picnic supper there, just you and Stevie and me. Stevie could sleep on the blanket, and we could go for a swim. Maybe we could recapture it, Louis. It wasn't always like this. Maybe if we went back.
I'm sorry, Helen. I'd like to, really. But, well, I'm shipping out tonight.
Tonight?
I've got a new command, new ship. Having lunch with the Admiral this afternoon.
But you said you'd stay.
This is an important thing, Helen. This is the most important thing that ever happened to me.
More important than going for a swim.
You don't get a chance of being fleet commander every day. You can go for a swim anytime.
Yes, but we never do.
Now, look, honey. Ever since I was a cadet, I've been pointing toward this job. It's big. If I'm a success, you can name your own ticket. Big house up in Connecticut. Chauffeur. Finest schools for Steve.
I want you, Louis.
Now, don't be unreasonable.
Don't you be unemotional.
What?
I said don't be unemotional.
I don't understand.
No, I don't suppose you ever will.
Let's not quarrel. Why do we always end up quarreling? Well, it's almost time now.
Louis, let's try once more.
Goodbye, Helen. Say goodbye to the boy.
All right, Louis. Goodbye.
Helen. Where are you, Helen? Helen. Oh, no, I must be going out of my mind. The whole thing was nothing but a dream. If only I had someone to talk to.
Captain? Captain Morse, is that you?
Lester?
Yeah.
No, it's just another part of the same nightmare.
Captain Hollis, sir. Can you hear me?
Why must I be tortured like this?
Captain, if you can hear me, for heaven's sakes, answer. I found a tube loose in this receiver. I can hear you talking to yourself.
Lester, is it really you?
Yes, sir. Thank heavens, Captain. Are any of the others still alive?
Stone went to the sun. Dr. Carter went off with a meteor swarm. The others are scattered all over the universe by now. I'm headed right for Earth. I'll be in the orbit soon.
Well, it's good to hear your voice, sir. I was going insane all by myself here. Seems like I've been singing and talking the old bloody night.
We heard you. I'm glad we can reach one another.
Yeah, me too, sir.
Are you really glad, Lester? I should think you'd hate and despise me.
Why, sir?
I could have saved us all by changing course.
Well, the way I see it, Captain, you did what you believed in. That's the way each of us has to do.
Thank you, Lester.
Yeah, how long do you figure we got, sir?
Not long, I'm afraid. At least not me.
It's a terrible thing, ain't it, Captain? I mean, knowing you're going to die and not being able to do anything.
At least you've got pleasant memories.
Me, sir? No, I never married to a hell of beans. I should think you'd have some good thoughts to remember yourself.
I never lived, Lester.
Sir?
It's true, I never lived.
But you were wise.
We were strangers. We never knew each other.
A son?
A son. Lester, would you believe it if I told you I'd never put my arms around a boy and let him know how much I loved him?
Oh, that's hard to believe, sir.
It's true.
It's odd that you talking like this, Captain. I always envied you, your position. You were commander.
I thought so, too, but I know better now. My whole life was nothing but a running away from my own feelings. I had everything I really wanted. All I had to do was reach out my hand. There was Helen, Stevie, pleasures. And I turned my back and looked at the stars. When they came to me filled with their love and their warmth, I ran. I fled to the stars and to the ends of the universe. It was all so wrong. How do things like that happen to us, Lester?
I don't know, sir.
We were going to be divorced, Helen and I.
Oh?
Stupid, idiotic.
Oh, maybe you'll be picked up, Captain. There's lots of spaceships taking off from Earth. Maybe one of them will reach you before you hit the atmosphere.
If I dared to hope. We aren't that lucky, Lester. Not many get a second chance.
Well, keep
I
hoping.
can see you now, Lester. Mother Earth, big and green and rich. Won't be more than a few minutes at this rate. Oh, if there was something.
Captain, you still there?
Yes, I can feel the friction starting now. I'll burn in a minute. I'll be scattered like ashes all across the land. Funny, that's a useful act, isn't it? To help other things grow?
Oh, now don't talk like that, Captain.
I'm sorry, Lester. You're a good man. I hope they rescue you.
Well, I believe you're a good man, Captain.
Maybe, Lester. Maybe I am after all.
Oh, you just got a bit twisted somewhere, that's all. It wasn't your fault.
No, it wasn't my blame. Funny.
Sir?
I feel a sense of calm now. Almost relief. Did you ever get out of a cold shower and feel like a new man? Clean and ready for breakfast and a new day? I have a feeling like that. It's a beautiful old Earth, Lester. Good to go home. I wonder if anyone will see me.
Captain.
To the beach tonight?
I don't know. I just wanted to see the ocean and the stars. Are you cold?
No. Mom?
Yes, darling.
When's Dad coming back?
I don't know, Steve. I don't know.
Mom? What's the matter between you and Dad?
Matter? Oh, nothing you'd understand.
Don't you love each other?
I suppose in a way we do. It used to be quite different. It was long ago when you were a tiny, tiny baby. Your father and I used to come down here and swim at night. I was the first girl he ever loved. And then somehow, something happened. He got frightened or something, and we sort of lost each other.
Oh.
Come here, Steve.
What's wrong, Mom?
Why, just feel a little chill. Perhaps we'd better be getting back. It's almost your bedtime.
Okay, Mom. Mom, look up there. A falling star.
Yes, I see it.
It fell right this way. Did you see it, Mom? A falling star.
Make a wish, son. Make a wish.
You've just heard another adventure into the unknown world of the future. The world of... Dimension X is presented transcribed each week by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Street & Smith, publishers of the magazine Astounding Science Fiction. Today, Dimension X has presented Kaleidoscope, written for radio by George Lefferts from the story by Ray Bradbury. Featured in the cast were Joe DeSantis as the captain, Leon Janney as Lester, and Joan Alexander as Helen. Your host was Norman Rose.
Exciting news for adventure seekers. Join us on a thrilling journey through the vibrant landscapes and diverse culture of Brazil. Lost in Brazil brings you to captivating videos showcasing heart-pounding adventures, mouth-watering cuisine, and hidden gems of this incredible country. From bustling cities to tranquil beaches, our videos capture the essence of Brazil's beauty. Experience the warmth of its people, the rhythm of its music, and the thrill of exploration. Click on the link in the description to find out more.
Adventures in Time and Space, transcribed in future tense. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Street & Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction, brings you Dimension X. On a high hill in Samoa, there is a grave inscribed on the marker of these words. Under the wide and starry sky did my me lie. Gladly did I live and gladly die, and I lay me down with a will. This be the verse you graved for me. Here he lies where he longed to be. Home is the sailor, home from the sea, and the hunter, home from the hill. These lines appear another place, scrawled on a shipping tag from a compressed air container and pinned to the ground with a knife. It wasn't much of a fair, as fairs go. The trotting races wouldn't be held till 8 o'clock at night. And the flags and bunting drooped in the gray afternoon, and the pitchmen seemed discouraged. A large black cabriolet limousine stood at the side of the road, 32 cylinders purring quietly. And over the dust and the clatter of the fair, a bullhorn blasted its highest pitch.
Hurry, 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 this way to the moon rocket. The moon rocket. See it fly. The actual type rocket used by the first men to fly it. Chills, thrills, the romance of space. You can ride in it for only $25. Hurry, hurry, hurry.
Henry. Yes, sir. I'm getting out. But the board meeting, sir, you're due in Kansas City at 4. You think I need another $5 gold piece? Oh, no, sir. You trying to tell me what to do? No, sir. Of course not, sir. Then get this confounded buffalo robe off my legs. Yes, sir. Get it off. Just a minute, sir. I'll help you. Let go of me. Of course, sir. Watch your head on the door, sir. Let go of me. I'm sorry, sir. That's the ship. Rotten old tub. Single jet type with fractional midriff controls. Stay here, Henry. I'm going over.
The moon rocket. 50 cents to come aboard. hurry, hurry, hurry.
Hey, Charlie, you got that feed tube patched? I welded it. Good for maybe an hour. Oh, what a crowd. I wouldn't risk a nickel to see the sun blow up.
Captain. Oh, excuse me, Captain.
Yeah? Oh, yes, sir. 50 cents to inspect the rock. One?
Would you take a passenger this trip?
You mean you want to go up? It's $25.
That's right.
Yes, sir, right away. Charlie, take the pitch.
Oh, okay.
Step this way, sir. Look out for the feed lines there.
Yes, I see them.
Step right into the office. Hey, Doc, passenger for checkup.
Okay, Mac.
Is this necessary?
Regulation.
Take off your coat, open your shirt, roll up your right sleeve. How things, Mac?
Slow. We're not growing as much as the coot stem.
Yeah, we'll pick up tonight with the trotters.
Well, I'm ready, Doctor.
All right. Your arm. All right. Breathe in. Out. Breathe. 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 Sorry, Mac.
No go, Doc?
Cardiac condition. I couldn't certify him. Sorry.
You mean you won't take me up?
He's the doctor.
I couldn't even guarantee you'd live through the takeoff. It's not only your bad heart, but with heavy acceleration, your whole circulatory system would be in danger. And at your age, bones are brittle, highly calcified. You could snap one on the takeoff. Stop.
Well, I rather expected it.
I'm sorry. Between you and me, we could have used the 25.
Excuse me, Captain.
Yeah?
Could you and your engineer have dinner with me after your flight?
Dinner?
At my home. My car is over there.
That's your car?
Yes.
You're serious, Mac? You want Charlie and me for dinner?
Yes.
Okay. I don't see why not. Thanks. Charlie, you had enough.
Oh, lay off, man. Oh, that's perfectly all right, Captain McIntyre. Cigar?
Thanks.
Light?
Yes, thanks.
Yeah, it's hard for me to see why any holder of a master's ticket would put the Earth-Moon run.
I didn't like it.
Yeah. Don't hand us that. It was little G walked you out.
All right. So I took a few drinks. I could have squared that. Too many regulations, red tape.
Yeah. Would it help you to get back to the moon?
Sure. I could get a short haul job hopping ore. If I kept my nose clean, I might even get back on the run.
Captain, would you be open to a business proposition?
What is it?
You own your rocket.
Barring a couple of leaves.
I want a charter to take me to the moon.
What?
You hear what he said, Mac? He wants us to fly that old heap to the moon.
Oh, no, can't do it. The old boat's worn out. We don't even use standard fuel. Just gasoline and liquid air. Why don't you drive a couple of company medics? It's been done before.
I know, but not for me. I'm D.D. Harriman.
Harriman? Why, you own the company.
I own a large percentage of the company, but the other directors won't permit me to jeopardize the franchise. Can you tie that, Mac? A guy with half the money in the world, and he's up the creek.
Shut up, Charlie.
He's right. Well, Captain,
it's against the law.
I'd make it worth your while.
Sure he would, Mac. D.D. Harriman. He'd make it worth our while. Mac, Luna City.
Why do you want to go to the moon so bad, Mr. Harriman?
It's the one thing I've really wanted to do all my life. I'm maybe 50 years older than you are. When I was a kid, nobody believed we'd really reach the moon. You've seen rockets all your lives, but when I was a boy, they laughed at the idea. But I believed. I wanted the moon then. I used to stand in the backyard and stare at it.
How far away is it, Mom? The moon? Far enough. Why don't people fly to the moon?
They can't.
Why not? They just can't.
Not now, anyway.
Someday I will. What? Fly on the moon.
Sure. Come on now, Dell. Inside. Way past your bedtime.
I wanted to go to college. Engineering. Then the University of Chicago. Then Yerkes Observatory. That's what I wanted. But I didn't get it.
You see, Dell, Dad and I wanted you to go to college. We planned it. We saved for it. But with your dad gone and the girls growing up, I just can't manage it. The insurance won't cover us, and it's getting harder to make ends meet. You've been a good boy, Dell, and worked hard to make out. You'll understand.
I understood, and I worked. Stock boy at the old Ford plant in Detroit. Accountant. Credit manager for a mail order house. And then New York. Wall Street. And then transportation. The monorail line between New York and Chicago. The Atlantic pressure tunnel. And then Harriman rockets.
Dell, I want to talk to you.
But I'm working, Charlotte.
You talk to me now, Dell, or you may not get another chance.
What is?
Fred Lockwood. You sold out again?
I run the business, Charlotte.
Dell, I'm fed up with it. Up to here. I married you because I love you. I still love you, but I'm fed up.
Now, what is it, Charlotte?
We're not young anymore, Dell. I'm tired. I'm not asking for millions, just a little life for the two of us.
I'll pull the money out.
I know you will. 20 hours a day on benzodrine to stay awake and neobarbital to sleep. Oh, Dell, I can't stop you from doing this to yourself, but I won't let you do it to me.
I didn't know about the divorce for a month. I lost the papers under a stack of blueprints and stock prospectus.
Here's the news flash, Dell. Strato rocket reaches Paris. We've got the franchise lined up. The House Committee is solid. The Federal Rocket Commission is okay.
The next step is the moon, Fred.
Sure. Look, Dell, if we cut the freight rate on the tunnel, we could...
I'm serious, Fred. The next step is the moon.
Dell, you've been riding that joke for years.
It's no joke, Fred. I've signed a $4 million research contract with National Fission Corporation and guaranteed the next 2 years' output of the Brookhaven Atomic Energy Institute.
Dell, you couldn't. That's every liquid asset we have. You can't do that on your own initiative.
I have, and the board will back me up. Fred, we're going to the moon. It took 2 fraudulent bankruptcies and an investigation by the Securities and Exchange Commission before we did it. There were 3 injunctions on the rocket before it blasted off. I was going on the second trip, but my considerate board served a court order on me.
You can't go, Dell.
Fred, I'll break you if it's the last thing.
You've got a bad heart. That's no secret. If you die out there, the whole card house comes down. We've got an equity in this corporation, and we're going to see it protected. You've sucked us in on this wild scheme, and now that it paid off, you're going to sit right down here on Earth and see that the dividends come out on time. You're not going to the moon, Dell. Forget it.
I never went. By the time my lawyers shook off the restraining orders, the first cargo rocket had crashed into the Pacific, and Congress rushed through the Space Precautionary Act. My heart was earthbound, but now I'm moved. But I will not die until I have set foot on the moon. There, Captain McIntyre. You asked why I want to go to the moon? Well?
You find a ship, Mr. Harriman. I'll drive her. You'll get to the moon.
What, Mr. Harriman? You heard me. Sell out my holdings. I want every share I own realized in cash as soon as possible. But it'll depress the market, sir. You won't realize the full value of your holdings. Don't you think I know that? I was juggling stock before you were born. I can afford to take the loss.
Yes, sir. Oh, Mr. Harriman, there are 2 men outside.
Who are they?
Captain McIntyre and a Mr. Schwartz.
Well, send them in, Henry. What are you waiting for?
Yes, of course, immediately, sir. This way, gentlemen.
Mr. Harris. Well, Captain McIntyre, I'm glad to see you. And Mr. Swartz, come right in.
You weren't kidding about that job for us, were you?
Certainly not. You're not backing out on me, are you?
No, we need the job.
Yeah. Our ship is lying in the middle of the Osage River with her jet split open like a herring.
You weren't hurt, were you?
Sprains and bruises, that's all. We jumped.
I caught a catfish with my bare teeth.
It's all right. Then we can get down to business. I'll have contracts drawn up for you. You two will have to buy me a ship. I can't do it openly. My dear board of directors will find out and slap a court order on me.
But we can't get credit.
Don't worry. I'll supply the cash in advance. Take some ship that can be fitted for the jump. A straddle yacht. Move to a piece of desert. I'll find a strip and buy it.
You mean fit her out there?
Yes, we'll install extra fuel tanks, change the injectors and timers for space flight. Spend all the money you want. I'll see that you get it.
$132 shares of Apex holding at 60% of par.
Check.
52 preferred of Spaceways fuel, 50% of par.
Check.
And that is the list. Mr. Harriman, there's a process server outside.
What is it?
I don't know, sir, but I think it's a subpoena.
I was expecting that. Henry, get Mr. Cammons on the phone.
Yes, sir.
I think it's time for my lawyer.
Your Honor. Counsel representing Mr. Harriman's relatives contend that his behavior for the past few weeks gives clear indication that a mind brilliant in the world of finance has become senile. They petition you to declare him incompetent and to assign a conservator to protect his financial interests and those of his heirs. May I suggest that in his last few words, my opponent gave away his entire thesis. It is evident that the petitioners believe that my client should conduct his affairs in such a way as to ensure that his nephews, nieces, and their issue will be supported in unearned luxury the rest of their lives. Like vultures, they depend on it. Now, while it is true that he has sold his holdings, is it strange that an elderly man should wish to retire? We pray this court will confirm my client in his right to do what he likes with his own. Deny this petition and send these meddlers about their business.
Well, Cammons?
He reserved judgment till tomorrow.
Which way is the cat going to jump?
Well, Judge Embry is a strange one, Dal. He assured me he has a higher regard for personal liberty and then added that any action he took would be in your interest. But he did say that men do become senile and must be protected.
Senile? He might rule against me.
Yes, Dal. He might. Here he is. Eccentric millionaire disappeared. Are you eccentric, Mr. Harriman?
Well, they used to call me crazy. It depends on your credit rating.
A bench warrant under contempt proceedings has been issued.
They won't find me out here. How's the work going, Charlie?
Oh, my end's in pretty good shape. We finished the second pressure test on the new tanks and fuel lines today. The ground tests are all done except the calibrations. Take about 4 hours unless I run into bugs.
How about supplies?
Food and water on board. 3 vacuum suits, a spare, and service kits. I'm short navigation equipment, but give me a sextant and I'll get you down on the moon at any spot you name. Just from a general knowledge of relative speeds and orbit.
All right, Columbus. We know you can hit the floor with your hat.
Are you ready to go? My nephews will have detectives out looking for me.
Well, I could run those calibration tests tonight. Take till midnight. After that, it's up to the Commodore here.
There she is, Miss Harriman. That's the job that'll take you to the moon.
It's a good ship.
Man, stop the car.
Charlie's out.
Look at him. Where's his medicine?
In his vest pocket. Break the glass. All right. Hold it under his nose.
He looks lousy.
Yeah. He's breathing easy. We'll turn around soon.
Mac, we ain't going through this.
Why not?
It's murder. He'll never stand up under the initial acceleration.
Maybe not, but it's what he wants to do. Get that ship ready to fly.
Hey, you!
Hey?
Yeah. How many other people are there out here on this desert?
What can I do for you?
You're James McIntyre?
Hey, Mac.
Yeah? What's the matter, Charlie?
Oh. You McIntyre? Yeah. I'm the deputy federal marshal in this district. I got a warrant for your arrest.
What charge?
Conspiracy to violate the Space Precautionary Act. You, I suppose you're Charles Schwartz, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I got one for you, too.
Thanks.
And a man named Harriman. Got a court order to put seals on your spaceship.
We haven't got any spaceship.
What are you doing, kidding me? What's that, a kitty car?
Strato yacht.
Oh, yeah? Well, I'll put seals on it till the spaceship shows up. Now, come on, where's Harriman?
In the shed. Over there.
What shed are you talking?
Oh, my knuckle. That's the one I broke playing football. I'm always hurting that finger.
Charlie, we gotta hurry. Get Pop into the cabin and strap him into his hammock.
Right. So long, deputy. Oh, my knuckle.
She's warm, Charlie. Everything set back there?
How do I know? I didn't have time to run tests.
Tough. You all right, Mr. Harriman?
I think so. These straps are tight.
Have to be when we blast off. All set, Charlie. Give me control.
Check. Test keys.
1 bank.
Check.
2 bank.
There's an auxiliary out.
We don't need it. All right, boy, hang on. Let's go. How are you, Pop?
I'm doing fine. Couldn't be better.
You better stay in your hammock. I'll loosen the straps a little. What is it?
Nothing. Just go easy on that side.
Pop, you ain't fooling me, man. You got a couple of busted ribs. Well, there isn't much I can do until we ground. You take a neobarbital, and I'll wake you when we cut jets.
No, I'll stay awake.
Okay. Just shoot tape. Automatic, Charlie. How the tubes open up?
Fine. Tight as a drum.
She handles nice.
How's Pop?
Alive, but he's in bad shape.
How bad?
Cracked a couple of ribs in the takeoff.
You'd better set it down awful easy if you want him alive.
I'll make a full swing around the moon and ease her in on an approach curve. It'll go fine. If we've got enough fuel.
What? Who called me?
Something wrong, Pop?
I thought somebody was calling me. I must have been asleep.
I swung your hammock around. We're breaking now. There she is ahead.
The moon. I've seen 1,000 photographs. There. That's Copernicus. Tycho. The new Minerva Mines dome.
You know it all right, Pop.
Where are you landing?
Marrionettes, between Aristoteles and Archimedes.
That's about 40 miles from Luna City, isn't it?
Sure.
It won't be easy landing with a ground approach radar, will it?
I've done it before.
Not without a second pilot to punch the statometer.
Pop, you ought to have a mate's ticket. You know the whole routine. You must have really studied up.
Yes, that's all I could do. Study, till now.
Oh, look at her. The moon. I feel as if I were coming home.
Yeah. Charlie,
Yo,
I'm taking her in. Cut in full power.
make it good, Mac. Pop can't take a rough one.
Shut up and give me the power. I'll do my best. Okay, statometer setting punched. Hang on, here we go.
That was a lousy landing, Mac.
Statometer drift.
How's our passenger?
Quiet. I'll look.
I wouldn't make any bets. That landing stunk.
Will you shut up? I did my best. Hey, Pop.
He's alive. Blood on his mouth.
Trying to say something. All right, take it easy, Pop. We're down.
Where?
Take it easy.
Vacuum suits. Where are they?
Now, steady, Pop. Steady. You can't go out there yet. We've got to give him some first aid.
Get me that suit.
What do you think, Mac?
Might as well get his suit out of the locker. Use the big one. He'll be more comfortable.
Okay, Pop. Easy now.
Hurry. Hurry.
Feel those zippers, Charlie. All right, now, take it easy. All right, the helmet. Your diaphragm set?
Check.
Air valve?
Set.
Lift it on him.
Don't hit him. There.
All right. Come on, Charlie. Let's get into our suits, and we'll carry him out the lock.
Easy. Easy with him. Okay. Okay. You all right, Pop?
Outside. Take me outside.
His left leg is going. Get your shoulder under him. Right. Open the lock. All right, Pop. Come on. We're going out on the moon. All right. We're going to leave you out here to look around while we get ready for the hike to town. You all right? We have to break out air bottles and rig a stretcher. It's 40 miles into the dome. Charlie, drop something behind his head. Okay. There. Comfortable, Pop? We'll be back soon.
I can feel the pumice dust. There's the earth overhead. The earth in the sky. Green blue. I'm on the moon. Charlie? I thought somebody called my name. I'm getting old. My mind wanders. Charlie. That's you, isn't it? I made it, Charlie. I'm on the moon. You didn't understand. You were afraid I wouldn't take care of myself. But I made it. I'm on the moon.
Come on, Charlie. You better get Pop going. Here, give me a hand getting him on the stretcher. Never mind the stretcher, Mac. What's the matter? He won't need it. He's dead. Oh. We'd better get up the pumice skis and the air bottles. It's a long walk to town. Yeah. What about him? Looks as if he's resting, doesn't he? Propped up, looking out on the pumice. Well, he got to the moon. Come on. Let's start walking.
heard another adventure into the unknown world of the future, the world of
Dimension X.
Imagine a planet somewhere in the universe where night comes only once in 1,000 years. The friendly darkness night brings to our own world on this far-off planet is a thing of terror, a breeder of panic and evil. Be with us next week as we bring you Isaac Asimov's Nightfall.
Dimension X is presented, transcribed each week by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of the magazine Astounding Science Fiction. Today, Dimension X is presented Requiem, written for radio by Ernest Kenoy from the story by Robert Heinlein. Featured in the cast were Rod Hendrickson as Harriman, Bill Quinn as McIntyre, and Owen Jordan as Charlie.
Adventures in Time and Space, transcribed in future tense.
Dimension X.
The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction, bring you Dimension X. Ralph Waldo Emerson speculated, if the stars should appear one night in 1,000 years, how would man believe and adore and perceive for many generations the remembrance of the city of God? Now, this was philosophically interesting. But on the edge of the galaxy, there is a planet which swings on its orbit in a cluster of 6 suns. These suns hang in the sky above. Never less than 2 shine down through the entire 23.8 hours of the planet's day. The yellow light has burned down on the planet continuously into the past, till the mind of man runneth not to the contrary. Thurman was a reporter for the Cerro City Chronicle. He covered them all, from the night police beat to politics to the sports pages. And the city editor wanted him to cover the biggest story of the year, perhaps of all time. It was an interview, a particularly difficult interview. But then, since his first days as a cub, Thurman had specialized in difficult interviews. He didn't expect violence, though, from an astronomer.
You're from that newspaper? Well, you've got a lot of gall coming here.
Now, wait a minute, Dr. Anton. It's only a job.
I've read your paper. You've been riding this observatory for 2 months now. You've attacked me personally. I have nothing to say to you.
All right, look, this is your chance to get your side in the paper. I'll give it to you straight. 2 months ago, the observatory issued a press statement that the world was coming to an end. Now, that's the same story that the cult of revelations has been preaching. And when a scientist backs that up, it's news.
Our conclusions have nothing to do with the cult. The cult of revelations is full of superstition and mysticism. We are scientists.
Yeah. And you got the people pretty angry.
That does not matter.
You know, if I can't get the story from you, I'll have to go somewhere else.
Go ahead.
All right. You know, Dr. Anton, the paper can be pretty rough on someone who doesn't cooperate.
Young man, if you're not out of the observatory within 5 minutes, I shall call the police. Now get out.
The reporter walks down the long hall from the observatory. The light filters through the high windows, the yellow light of Gamma, the brightest of the 6 suns in the planet's sky. Beta is almost at zenith. Its red light floods the landscape to an unusual orange. The planet's sun, Alpha, is at the antipodes. And now, as Gamma sinks below the horizon, the red dwarf sun, Beta, is alone, grimly alone. It's a short drive from the observatory to Cerro City, and the red light glares from the highway. The temple of the cult stands, hewn from the solid rock of the Dormite Mountains, outside the city. And in the inner courtyard stands Sor, the priest of the cult.
Woe to the unbelievers! Their souls will rot with the absence of light.
Sor, wait, Your Reverence, please. Please. Tell me, Your Reverence, what will happen? What are you waiting for here?
The day of the coming, is written in our doctrine of revelations. It came to pass that the sun, Beta, was alone in the sky. The world was shrunken and cold. Men did assemble in the public squares and highways. Their minds were troubled and their speech confused, for the souls of men awaited the coming of the stars. The lip of the cave of darkness passed the edge of Beta, and loud were the cries of men. There was no light on the surface of the world. In this blackness there appeared the stars in countless numbers. And in that moment the souls of men departed from them. Their abandoned bodies became even as beasts. And the stars then reached down the heavens' flame, and where it touched, the cities of the world flamed to destruction. So that of man and all the works of man naught remained. So it is written.
Dr. Sharon, you're the only scientist I could find in the city. Where is everybody?
In the hideout.
In the hideout?
The place bored me. I wanted to be out here where things are getting hot. I want to see the stars the cultists are talking about. Besides, they don't want me at the hideout. I'm too scrawny to survive.
Well, wait a minute. What is the hideout?
Well, we professors have managed to convince a few people that our prophecy of doom is valid. We've got about 3,000 people. They're supposed to hide where the darkness and the stars can't get at them. We hope they'll survive and leave records.
Survive? Survive what?
Oh, there are lots of names for it. The cultists have their myths.
Oh, yes. What about that? What is there to these myths? As a matter of fact, what is there to this doctrine of revelation?
I'm a psychologist, not an archaeologist. How true it is, I don't know, but the cultists say that every 2,050 years, all the suns disappear, and there is a total darkness. And then they say things appear called stars. Of course, men go mad. They mix all this up with a lot of religio-mystic notions, but that is the central idea.
Yeah. Well, that's impossible, isn't it? I mean, there are always at least 2 suns in the sky, most of the time 4 or 5.
There are not now, only Beta.
Dr. Sharon, you mean that there's going to be worldwide darkness tomorrow? That all mankind will go violently insane? What's behind that?
Well, for one thing, this is history of civilization of the world. We've located a series of cycles of civilizations comparable to our own, all of which, without exception, were destroyed by fire at the very height of their culture.
All right. But is there any scientific theory behind this and that would explain it?
The University Observatory finished their calculations 2 months ago. Tomorrow there will be an eclipse of Beta so that the planet will become dark. That eclipse comes every 2,049 years. Darkness comes. Maybe those mysterious stars that no man has ever seen. And then madness. And the end of civilization.
I see. And the scientists expect to live through this at the hideout?
They plan to photograph the eclipse and leave the records, and then the rest of mankind will know what to expect.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Sharon, what is there in darkness to drive men mad?
Have you ever experienced darkness, young man?
No, but I know what it is. It's just... well, no light.
Draw the curtain.
Well, what for? If we had 4 or 5 suns out there, we might want to cut the light down for comfort, but with only Beta...
That is the point. Just draw the curtain and then come here and sit down.
All right. What? Dr. Sharon, I can't see you.
Feel your way.
Yeah, but I can't see. I can't see anything.
Do you like it?
Well, no, it's awful. The walls. They seem to be closing in on me. I want to keep pushing them away.
All right. Draw the curtain back again.
The light. The light. Dr. Sharon, have you got a drink?
Right here. That was just a dark room.
Yeah. No. It wasn't really so bad.
You're afraid.
Yes, I am. Just darkness can do that?
This isn't just a metaphysical theory, young man. It's promulgated from observed data. Come with me.
Where?
The locked ward down the corridor.
All right.
Were you at the Saro City Centennial Exposition 2 years ago?
No, I was overseas on assignment.
You remember hearing about the tunnel of mystery that broke all records in the amusement area?
Yeah. Wasn't there some fuss about it? The Anti-Vice Society had it shut down?
It was shut down, all right, but the Blue Noses had nothing to do with it.
Oh?
That tunnel was nothing but a mile-long passage through darkness. You rode in a little car, and it took 15 minutes to get through. Very popular while it lasted.
Popular?
There's a fascination in being frightened when it's part of a game. Absence of light is one of the instinctive human fears. People came out of that 15 minutes of darkness shaking and half dead with fear.
Half dead? I thought there were some deaths.
Bad hearts, but that wasn't the big danger. Now, which key is this?
Wait a minute, Dr. Sharon. Where are we going?
You'll see. No, the heart attacks were actually good for business, but there was something else. Here, I'll show you. I want you to see somebody. Latimer. Latimer.
Go away.
Latimer, I want you to meet somebody. This is Mr. Theremin.
No. No, go away.
Hello?
He's pushing me. Make him stop pushing me. Go away.
I'm not touching him. What's wrong?
Latimer is afraid.
The walls. They're falling in on me, the walls. I've got to get out. Let me out.
You can't go out, Latimer. It's all right.
I've got to get out. Let me out. Let me out.
At sleeping period, we have to give him a shot of morphine. Otherwise, he'd bat his brains out against the wall.
Well, what's wrong with him?
Nothing. Nothing but 15 minutes in the darkness of the tunnel of mystery.
Oh, Doctor, that's impossible.
1 person out of 10 came out of the tunnel that way. That's why we had to shut it down.
Well, why? Why should darkness do that?
It's obvious man cannot exist without light. Longer periods of darkness would obviously be fatal. The scientific theory is that the consciousness of light is necessary for mental activity.
Please, doctor, let me outside. Let me outside. Please, I can't breathe. They're pushing me. They're always pushing me. I can't stand it. I can't stand it.
There you are, Theremin. That's what 15 minutes of darkness will do. Man just wasn't built to operate without light. There are always at least 2 suns in the sky, most of the time more.
Yeah. Just 15 minutes of darkness.
Now then, look out of that window. Imagine darkness everywhere. No light as far as you can see. Black. Everything black. And the stars, whatever they are, well, can you conceive it? Your mind wasn't built for that conception. When the real thing comes, you'll go mad completely and permanently. There's no question of it. Tomorrow, there won't be a city left standing in the world.
Well, why, Doctor? Why should the cities be destroyed?
If you were in darkness, what would you want more than anything else? What would it be that every instinct would call for? Light. And how would you get light?
I don't know.
You'd burn something, and every city in the world will go up in flames. Shall we go back to my office, Mr. Theremin, and have another drink?
Through
the skies, the red sun Beta shines alone. The wind howls across the city. It's cold, colder than man can remember. And as the hour approaches, the reporter goes out and speaks to the man in the street.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, but I'm from the Chronicle. I'd like to talk to you.
Ah, a reporter, huh?
That's right.
My name is Pallet. 2 L's. Remember the 2 L's.
All right. Mr. Pella, what's your occupation?
Power technician at the North Division plant. You're making some kind of a survey, huh?
Yeah, in a way. Where are you going now?
Home for supper.
Well, how about, well, what I mean is, what are you going to do tonight?
You mean about this star stuff?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, mister. It don't stand to reason that the end of the world is going to come boom like that. It just don't stand to reason.
In other words, you don't believe it?
I didn't say that, but it just don't stand to reason.
Uh-huh. Have you read what the scientists say?
I don't read stuff like that. Only the headlines.
Yeah. How about the cult?
Well, now, like I always say, I've got nothing against religion.
You don't believe them either?
Well, they've always been shouting about doom and sin. Listen, bud, when you've been around as long as I have, you get to know the score. It's all right to preach that Judgment Day is coming and all, but just the same, I'm putting money in the bank.
Uh-huh. Well, tell me, how about darkness?
About what?
How would you feel if there was no light?
You crazy? How could there be no light?
Well, now, suppose all the suns went down at once. Suppose everything was black.
Well, it's crazy. What's the use of supposing something like that? It couldn't happen. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's all. Thank you.
Sure. Look, mister, remember Pallet with 2 L's?
Oh, excuse me, sir, but I represent the Chronicle, and we're conducting a poll to determine public opinion with regard to the predicted end of the world. How do you feel about it?
All this talk of scientific explanation. It's sinful. That's what it is.
Oh, I see. Well, then you're a member of the cult, sir.
I sure am. Been a member since I was a boy. My daddy was a member, too. I've seen the books. It's all writ down in the books.
Well, don't you believe the scientist's explanation?
Don't need it. Going to save my immortal soul. Going to stay on the mountaintop in a white robe while the stars carry me away to glory. Blessed be the stars. Amen.
Well, tell me, what are the stars?
The glory. The breath of the heaven. The spirit of the ultimate. That's what they are.
Uh-huh. Well, sir, the observatory has announced that it intends to take pictures of these stars.
Blasphemy. I sold my house. Gave all my money to the poor. Won't need it anymore. Going to heaven with stars. Glory, glory, going with the stars.
The reporter checks the stock exchange, the stores. Business at a standstill. Doesn't pay to buy anything today, not if the world's going to end tomorrow. There are predictions of economic collapse in the financial section, layoffs at the factories on the edge of the city. And through the streets, the people mill and turn, unsure, crying in fear or shouting with bravado. But the story isn't here in the city. And so as the hour approaches, the reporter goes again to the observatory high in the hills.
Now, look, Dr. Raton, if you are right, if the world is going to be destroyed, what's the difference if I stay here and observe and take notes?
Well, nothing, I suppose, but you'll be in the way. We have work to do.
All right, if I stay out of the way.
I can't be bothered with you. You'll have to leave, Mr. Thurman.
Hello. Hello.
Oh, hello, Dr. Sharon.
This place is like a morgue. It's freezing outside. The wind is enough to hang icicles on your nose. Beta doesn't seem to give any heat at all. It's so far away.
Why aren't you in the hideout, Sharon?
Me? I'm part of the race that isn't worth perpetuating. Who's got a bottle?
There will be no alcohol today. It would be too easy to get my men drunk. I can't afford to tempt them. Well, all right, Thurman, you can stay, but keep out of the way.
Well, thank you, Doctor.
Well, gentlemen, I think it's time we took our positions. The observatory dome is up these stairs.
Yes, sir. After you, Doctor.
What's that? The dome, quick.
What is it?
The plates. The photographic plates, they're all smashed.
There he is. A cultist.
He's going for the telescope. After him.
I've got him. They must be destroyed. It must be.
It's all right. It's all right. He didn't harm anything. Let him up.
Well, that's the high priest, Dr. Adon. Soar is his name. I was talking to him yesterday.
What do you want, Soar?
Nothing that you would give me of your own free will.
I made a bargain with the cult to give me certain data you had. In return, I promised to prove the essential truth of the creed.
There was no need to prove that. Stands proved by the doctrine of revelations.
I offered scientific backing for you believers.
You made of the darkness and the stars a natural phenomenon, removed all its real significance. That was blasphemy.
The facts exist.
Your facts are a fraud and a delusion.
How do you know?
I know.
I suppose you think in trying to warn the world against the menace of madness, we are placing souls in jeopardy. Well, we have not succeeded, if that makes you feel better.
Your devilish instruments must be destroyed. We obey the will of the stars.
Someone call the police in Cerro City.
There's no time for that. Let me handle this. The eclipse is only a few minutes away. Look, Saw, will you give your word of honor to cause no trouble?
I will not.
Listen, just as soon as the eclipse starts, we're going to take you and put you in a closet with the door closed, and you'll stay there. Then you won't see the darkness, and you won't see the stars. And that means the loss of your immortal soul according to the cult. All right now, will you give your word of honor?
You have it. You will all be damned for your deeds of today.
Look! Cameras! Yes, sir. Check the exposures carefully.
We will, sir. You're shaking, Mr. Theron.
Well, I don't feel very well, that's all.
You're not losing your nerve?
No, I'm just not used to this.
You could probably make the hideout.
Now, look, I've been assigned to cover a story and intend to cover it.
Professional honor?
Yeah. And I'd give my right arm for a bottle right now. I need a drink. What's that?
The cultist. That's the doctrine of revelations.
Well, I don't understand it.
He's chanting some old cycle language. The doctrine of revelations was originally written in it. There are probably 2 million people in Cerro City who are trying to join the cult. One gigantic revival.
Dr. Sharon, how do the cultists manage to keep the doctrine of revelations going from cycle to cycle? If everyone goes mad, who wrote this doctrine?
There are some people who don't see the stars, the blind. They would have memories, and that, combined with the confused, incoherent babbling of the mad, form the basis for the doctrine of revelations. The cult will be riding high down there in the city. I hope they make the most of it.
Dr. Sharon, I've just heard from the hideout on private line.
They're in trouble?
They are safe, but the city is in shambles. You have no idea.
It'll get worse. What are you shaking about, Doctor? How do you feel?
You don't understand. The cultists are rousing the people to storm the observatory, promising them salvation, promising them anything.
How long till the total eclipse?
An hour. I'm going to check those cannons.
It's a gamble. It'll take time to get a mob out here. If the darkness comes first, we're all right. Look at Beta.
Yeah. It's cut in half.
It's getting darker. An interesting phenomenon.
The collar's suddenly tight.
Are you having any difficulty in breathing?
No. Why?
Difficulty in breathing is one of the first symptoms we've experimented.
I'm cold. It seems to be getting colder.
We'd better keep our minds on something else.
Yeah.
One of the astronomers has a theory about the stars. He thinks they may be suns that are too far away to see in the light. He developed a fantasy about a planet revolving around one sun. It's a mathematical possibility. Of course, there couldn't be any life. Part of the planet would always be dark and without light. Well, it's obvious. Without light, there can't be any life.
It's time for the artificial light. We can't read the instruments.
Artificial light?
One of the researchers in the university worked it out. It's animal grease packed around a wick. Here, I'll light it with this spark.
Why, it's beautiful. Yellow light. After 4 hours of red. It's beautiful. Light. Light.
The dome is quiet. A priest in his yellow robe sways slowly as his lips move in the ancient tongue. Over and over he whispers the invocation to the stars. The technicians hunch over the instruments, and the sky gradually turns a horrible, deep purple red.
The air grows denser. Dusk, like a palpable entity, enters the room. The dancing circle of yellow light about the torches etches itself into ever sharper distinction against the ever-gathering grayness beyond. Outside, Beta is a mere smoldering splendor, taking a last look at the world. The western horizon in the direction of the city is lost in darkness, and along the highway to the observatory surges a menacing, shadowy mass.
The mob from the city. They're coming.
How long till total eclipse?
15 minutes. But that mob will be here in 5.
We'll hold them off. Come on, Thurman, downstairs.
No, wait a minute. There's no light down there.
We have to block the door. Come on.
I can't breathe. I can't go down there.
Take a torch. We'll take light with us. Come on. Atten!
I'm here. Did you bar the door?
They won't get in.
All right now, everybody. 1 minute till totality. 1 minute. Just before totality, I'm changing the plate. That will leave one of you for each camera. Now remember, if you feel yourself going, get away from the camera.
It's dark. It's getting dark.
Sharon, where are you? I can't see you.
I'm right here.
30 seconds.
Ah! Look out, the priest.
I can't see him.
And the wicked shall perish, and the souls of the true believers shall be transported in glory to the stars.
You can see him against the torch.
Don't let him get to the telescope.
From the stars there reached down a heavenly flame, and where it touched, the cities of the world flamed to utter destruction.
Grab him!
I'll take care of him. The world must be destroyed by the stars.
I got it!
5 seconds to totality. 4, 3, 2, 1.
The sky is black, and through it shine the stars. 30,000 minute suns shine down in soul-searing splendor. It's more frightening in its awful indifference than the bitter wind that shivers across the horrible, cold, bleak world.
The stars. The stars! The stars! The walls! The walls are coming in on me! They're coming in! Light! Light!
Darkness. Forever and ever and ever, and the walls are breaking in. We did not know! We did not know! We did not know!
On the horizon in the direction of the city, a crimson glow begins growing. 1,000 fires strengthen in brightness that is not the glow of the sun. 1,000,000 fires as a world mad in the darkness screams in terror for the light. The night has come again. You have just heard another adventure into the unknown world of the future. The world of...
Dimension X.
With this program, Dimension X concludes the present series. We hope to return to the air in the near future. Watch your local newspaper and listen to your local station for the resumption of the series.
Dimension X is presented transcribed each week by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of the magazine Astounding Science Fiction. Today, Dimension X has presented Nightfall, written for radio by Ernest Kinoy from the story by Isaac Asimov. Featured in the cast were Lyle Sudrow as the reporter, Cameron Prudhomme as the astronomer, and John McGovern as the psychologist. Your host, Norman Rose. Music by Bert Behrman. Dimension X is produced by William Welch and directed by Fred Way.
The OTRR Group is a community of enthusiastic fans, avid listeners, and strong supporters of old-time radio. The group's goals include restoring, preserving, and sharing the classic shows from what is commonly known as the Golden Age of Radio, 1930 to 1960. The OTRR Group, comprised of a diverse worldwide group of volunteers, has undertaken many ongoing projects and continues to work hard to preserve our wonderful radio heritage. Visit www.otrr.org for more information.
Exciting news for adventure seekers. Join us on a thrilling journey through the vibrant landscapes and diverse culture of Brazil. Lost in Brazil brings you to captivating videos showcasing heart-pounding adventures, mouth-watering cuisine, and hidden gems of this incredible country. From bustling cities to tranquil beaches, our videos capture the essence of Brazil's beauty. Experience the warmth of its people, the rhythm of its music, and the thrill of exploration. Click on the link in the description to find out more.